What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the program, BX Sports JEDI Network, the MMA Talk, our program that we weekly speak about the MMA, the world of MMA, UFC, Bellator, and anything around the mixed combat sport and boxing. I appreciate you guys joining me this evening. Let me bring in my partner, and the privilege that I get to call my son, Austin. Chef Dan will be in the building shortly. Austin, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm doing very good, very good. Chef Dan will be running a little behind, but we'll bring him in as soon as he gets there. Let's break down the weekend review. Which way do you want to start it out?
Well, I mean, you know what? Let's get this out the way. Let's talk about the Jake Paul Tyron Woodley boxing match. Let's just start there.
So I laugh because everybody was so minorly disappointed with the main event, at least with Woodley and Jake Paul. There was not that much action that we thought Woodley was going to be able to at least, lay his hands out. He did get Paul with a couple of good shots, throw him against the ropes, but an inactivity. It was just a boxing dancing exhibition. If you ask me, what's your thoughts?
Session? Right, you said like a dancing, what was it, like a dancing
exhibition?
You're right. It was like a glorified sparring matchup. It seemed like, but the problem this is the problem with Tyron Woodley. This is why some people have issues with Woodley MMA community towards the end, because this is what he does. He does low activity. Sometimes he doesn't throw enough. He kind of got comfortable and just backed up, lean overhand and right. And you see here, I mean, he turned to the frozen one because. He had Jake Paul was fourth round. Jake Paul got hurt, and Jake Paul, and he was getting tired as well. And Willie Willie would just press the action. He doesn't, take out Jake Paul. He could have won the fight because of more activity, landed more, and and Willie calls himself with the lack of activity. It was something that he kind of did in his when he became champion, after he became champion, the UFC run, from like the second Wonder Boy fight to he lost to Usman, and even well, to be fair, the last fight against Luke, he did throw some more action. If you remember, he hurt Luke, but Luke came back, knocked him out. And the Gilbert Burns fight, 2 fights forward, I did throw some action. But the Covington fight, I mean, he didn't throw that much action, even though Kobe was, doing what he wanted. But it seemed like there's a problem with Woodley's, like, at least second half career wise. Don't throw anything, throw little. All of a sudden, he doesn't do anything. Oh, speaking of,
sure,
hey,
Austin, would you let our co-host here, Chef Dan, salute my main man? How are you?
Salute to everyone. Hope everyone is having a good week. This was a very good. It was a very good Saturday altogether. If you look at it from a grand scheme of things, a lot of things went right, a lot of shakeups, but it was that's what's supposed to happen after a card. There's supposed to be a lot more questions than answers. So this is a very interesting card. But salute to everyone. I hope everyone is doing great out there. I hope everyone's life is doing great.
Well, how you guys doing?
Hey, Chef Dan, Chef.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Austin. Go ahead. I apologize.
I was going to ask about the floods. I heard there were some floods in New York, New Jersey recently.
Oh man, yo. Let me tell you guys something. All right, that day was it was tiring for me. I had to take my mom to physical therapy. After we finish, I go to the market. Just as I get out of the market, the rain already started and I didn't have an umbrella. So I'm carrying a whole bunch of groceries. I run back home, right? After I, shower and everything, just being rained on, it gets you sleepy. So I fell asleep, but because it was hot, I left a lot of the windows open. Now I have to tell you guys something. I live on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. Okay? I live on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. When I tell you streams of water were coming in through the windows I left open, it was crazy. And then I saw some of the videos that happened out there. Like, it's crazy. And it's not to make light of it, but me and BX are Knicks fans, so I even saw earlier on Twitter how Mitchell Robinson posted that, he was mad that the hurricane
Us.
came for both his homes. And that seeing what happened in Louisiana, I know they got hit way worse than we did, but and I pray for them. You keep them in your praise, and we hope that we can help them in any way we can. But yeah, it's bad over here too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, definitely. Keep them in your prayers, and also we will, and also New York, New Jersey, people affected by the floods over there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say about that inclement weather. Right? It's right now as we speak. If we have a little bit of technicals with our internet or slowing down, right now we having just a typical Florida but downpour right now. If you right now it's just coming down like nothing like New York compares, but it's really coming down hard right now here in Central Florida. So we have a little bit of a slow internet or difficulties. We're apologizing earlier, like we had the stream yesterday with the baseball. But other than that, we were before you came on the show, Chef Dan. We were talking because I know you text me it Sunday night right before I went to bed. I do not want to speak about the Woodley Logan fight, so I know you were coming behind, so we jumped ahead and we started talking about that. As soon as you came on, we were talking about the inactivity of Woodley versus Logan fight. I know you don't want to speak about it. I get it. We're gonna wrap it up.
No.
We're going to quickly. We're trying to get away.
Look. Let's get it out the way. Let's
we're
get it
doing.
out the way.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Go ahead, Chef. Take away.
I fortunately did not pay to watch that fight. And that's
Neither
all I'll
we.
say.
Neither we.
That's all I'll say on how I watched the fight. But I did watch the fight in its entirety. And man, what can I say? It was a boxing match, and like I say that with a question mark because that's what everyone had to come to the conclusion of, is that it was a boxing match and you technically did see boxing. It wasn't the outcome that everyone truly wanted, but at the same time, what you saw was that how do I say it? Like Woodley, due to his inactivity, that's what made him lose the fight. And when he looks back at the tape, him as a future Hall of Fame UFC fighter, he's going to look at all those rounds where he had Jake Paul on the ropes. And granted, he did have that one round where he wobbled him and had him against the ropes. But there were a bunch of times where he closed the distance and Jake's jaw was hanging. And it's not necessarily to say that he's going, he should go for the knockout blow. But when a fighter's jaw is hanging, you know what that means. He's tired. He was like he's going to kick himself in the butt over and over and over again, because what he's going to see in that fight was a fighter who knew there was blood in the water and didn't go after it. And that's a fighter and he knows better than that, because he's someone who knows how to finish a fight. So there were a bunch of times where he had the opportunity to at least, put the numbers up. If he at least put the numbers up at that point, then it could have been a more even fight coming down the road. And even then, like, that would have changed the complexion of the last two rounds. But there were a bunch of times throughout the early rounds where he had the opportunity and he had Jake tired because Jake was moving around and he was fighting a fight that was not his. He was fighting a style of fight that was not his style of fight. That the moving around, staying light, jabbing, going for counters, keeping on the jab, that is not his style of fight at all. He's a person that can plant that he's more comfortable planting his feet, moving forward slowly and fighting. And we've seen that so far in the 3 fights that he's had earlier. He just knew instinctively, and he felt it, that if he was to stand in the pocket with Tyron Woodley, things would not go his way. And Tyron Woodley had plenty of opportunities to get it to a point where he would have no choice but to stand in the pocket, and he didn't get it done. And that's all I'm gonna say on the fight. I we'll see if a rematch happens. I don't know, nor do I even look forward to even seeing that happen. Right. I don't know. I would watch it still if it did happen, because a fight's a fight. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
Now, I'm going to chop in on this one with the boxing part. Now, that looked more like an exhibition, a dancing exhibition. You're going to fight me, but you're not going to knock me out or hurt me. That's what it looks like. That looks like both Logan, the Paul brothers, both Logan and Jake. That looks like looks like a contract stipulation when they fight their opponents, and you're just going to put a boxing exhibition. Oh, that's fine and dandy if you want to go ahead there and generate that money with boxing exhibitions and to join the crowd. But do not charge the asinine amount of money on the pay-per-views to the hardworking public. Go ahead and put that on a if you want to put that on a DAZN, I could see that, where people are paying a subscribe every month, and you want to add that on or anything like that. But when you're doing a separate entity, and plus on a Sunday night on extremely late, 11:30, that fight almost started or close to it, and it's late on a Sunday night when you have to return to a lot of 90% of the folks are Monday to Friday workers, and that's an extreme. You put that, if you want to put that on Saturday, that's another criticism. But the charge, I wouldn't want to see a second fight. It's not for an exhibition there. It's ridiculous. Enough with the experimental with the YouTube fighters. What we're gonna have, what Nick's content creators fight in the ring next. I mean, this is that's what it looks like.
next versus Pacers content creators.
Yeah, that's what it looks rivalry.
Like. Nah, I don't want to do that. But you know what? I do want to say this, and there is an upside to this event. And that was that before that fight, they had an amazing co-main event with Amanda Serrano.
That's what I was going to break that. I was going to break that down. Beautiful.
She was rocking Jordan boxing boots, boxing boots with the Jordan designs on them. And she was lighting her opponent up. Amanda Serrano, she is a queen. And I look forward to seeing more of her fights. And I definitely want to shout her out. And, if anyone sees this and they don't know her name, I pray that you look up some of her fights. She is an exciting fighter.
Right.
Here's what I'm going to... Excuse me. Go ahead, Austin.
I'll say, is she from Puerto Rico, Amanda Serrano?
Yeah.
She's her Puerto Rican fighter out of Brooklyn.
She's Puerto Rican out of Brooklyn. Yeah.
Oh, New Yorican, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dad. I'm sorry.
And that was the whole fight of the night. I actually I was doing my other obligations with the Yankees. They had a game on. I didn't catch thank God I caught the beginning just before when the ring introductions of Serrano and Mercado. And I saw the whole fight. I didn't see the other prior to it, so I'm gonna just say the winners when it comes to it. But I want to talk about the Amanda Serrano and Yamilet Mercado. Excellent fight. Phenomenal, Serrano with the body. She beat the Mexican fighter at her own fight with the body punches. Not only and then allow up the high area for the straight right hand to the face, and you see her eye was jammed up. I got to give a lot of kudos to Yamilet Mercado because she didn't go down. She kept up there, she kept battling. She didn't get knocked out, but she took her necessary hits, which I thought around later rounds her corner was going to call it. When we saw outside of the corners, you had the two cornermen jarring back and forth between rounds and going at it, and had a word of words, and he was like, oh, I thought and I think a little bit of machisto pride hurted Mercado's, going the distance. Yes, she went the distance, but she took unnecessary hits too. They could have thrown the towel and say it's enough, because she was really getting pummeled. But now Serrano has been undefeated for quite some time now, and now she seems to be the pound for pound best female boxing fighter right now in boxing right now. And what a real treat, because she's really a good fighter, an excellent fighter. Started in MMA, so she's a mixed martial arts artist as well. Transition over, and also we invited her part of the program. Hopefully, she comes there. Or the invitation would send out to her, and let's see that she goes to the proper channels, and maybe one day we'll see her here and we'll talk to her on the program. But other than that, that was the best fight of the night, in my opinion. What do you guys thought of that there, Dan?
Yeah, like I said, that was a great fight. She really brought it on in all 8 rounds. Like it was a phenomenal fight. And the crazy part, I believe the rounds were 2-minute rounds.
Yes.
I remember I was texting you in all caps with all the exclamation points and everything. I was like, 3-minute rounds, 3-minute rounds. They need 1 more minute. They need 1 more minute, because both these ladies were tough. It was a great fight. It was just a great fight.
Wait, it was 2-minute rounds? Really? For a world title fight? What's a world
Yes,
title
yeah.
fight, right?
Yep.
That's weird.
It was a world title fight.
I thought it was always 3-minute rounds, even for women's fights, boxing matches as well.
Yeah, it was a weird setup on that. Yeah, it was a 2-minute round, and I know Dan kept writing that, telling me why didn't they go 3? But in a way, it's okay, because Mercado just would have taken more necessary. Another, you would add another 3 minutes into that fight. 3, 4. You would add another 4 minutes of that fight. She really could have got hurt, and going forward, and because of the corner's lack of pride, and they got, and the kudos to the corner of Serrano, got into the corner of Mercado, their trainers, in their head with the mind games there. Just, I think, hurted that Mercado fight because of that machismo, like, oh, now go out there and beat that girl, and vice versa. And they stopped giving Mercado the proper instructions there. Cover your sides, when you go for the body, drop your elbow down to not get hit to the body, but also guard your head, because she's coming in with the straight right hand wide open, and you're getting hurt. That's why you saw the gash on her eye. And those adjustments, they could have been given to her, or maybe it was, but they went to the corners, and all you hear is the bickering back and forth in Spanish between trainers and between rounds, and that's what I think took them out of the game. And I could, and yes, we want to have Serrano on, but I couldn't care less for the antics after the fight was over with the managers. That I could care less for. I that could leave it there. You're a world champion, female world champion that could go far. Your corner, and I know it's your brother-in-law, and that's family. It's got to hold it just a little bit, because you're on a spotlight now. You're in the big leagues. When you're in these fights, and they know that you're in the big leagues now, and you don't want the WBC or the boxing committee, the boxing head, to tell you drop your brother-in-law, because he's gonna weigh you down, and it's hard because you have, that's family, and if he's gonna act a little bit off-putting and unprofessional, they might do that. They might turn around and say, you're gonna have to leave him. You might have to drop him, because we got bigger and better things to do with you. We want to make you market to you, because right now boxing, not only is boxing craving fighters, but also a female of this magnitude. Exciting. She is exciting. She's right now she has the opportunity to be a showstopper in the female boxing world. And if he's gonna act that off-putting, maybe if he, maybe they just boiled over, but he's got to control that emotion and not have that reoccur, because they're going to tell her for sure he's got to go, or he's got to be sitting in the ringside, and cannot be up in the ring and acting like that on national television, especially with pay-per-views, and maybe, dare I say, be the main event of a pay-per-view in a female boxing. We haven't had that in a while, so those are the things that hopefully they learn, lessons learned. I know, it's in a Logan Paul fight, which, it's, and you were the co-main event. Jake, one of the Paul brothers, Jake Paul. I get almost both confused, but like in the words of Dice Clay, what's that there, friends? It's a Paul. So yeah. So with so that said, with that, what do you, Austin? What's your thought of the female fight? I don't remember if you came from work or did you get to see that fight? No, you didn't get to see that fight, right?
No, I did not see that fight. I heard some things happened in the aftermath. And by the way, you mentioned Serrano's MMA record. She just fought in MMA 2.5 months ago in June and won her fight, ironically against another Mexican fighter too. Ironically enough, by guillotine choke. So I mean, like I said, she's got options because MMA. Clarissa Shields is now going over to MMA, but doing boxing, but probably transitioning. Maybe she might follow that route. Clarissa Shields possibly going to MMA, especially if PFL offers her a deal, or maybe in Bellator. Maybe. Well, I don't know what weight class she fights in. I'm not sure, but that depends on the weight class. So she has that option too. If things don't blow up for her in boxing, and like I said, I mean, the whole thing with Burn Law seems like. So, I mean, hopefully they can straight out because one thing I've learned from sports and like not just combat sports, but sports in general, team sports, etc. Family can sometimes be your worst kryptonite ever. Family can be the worst thing that ever happened to you. It could be the greatest. I mean, I'm not saying the family members are bad, but sometimes they can cause unnecessary problems, distractions, or sometimes take your money. Like Brian Kozar with his dad, how his dad basically screwed him over. You watch the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary, bro. But yeah, it seems like to me, hopefully that works out because, like I said, worst thing you want is a family member pulling you back or maybe even motivating other fighters, and then next thing you know, or doing something to screw you over. But yeah, that. Like she's a talented fighter. It seems like Amanda Serrano, seeing based on her record, especially she's doing well in MMA and pro boxing. And you mentioned she may be pound for pound #1. So hopefully for her, she can continue this streak. And it's cool to see a New Yorican doing well in sports. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and with that said, her weight class, if I correct me, guys, if I'm wrong, if she were to, let's say, continue to rampage through the boxing world and do both, dare I say, be a transitional fighter, or female fighter, fight in both levels, is she, what is it, Valenchenka or Nunez, if they were to somewhere somehow cross path and fight? I don't know though. I think her weight was 132, 135. Help me out there. What title in MMA? What category in MMA would she be with?
Bantamweight 135.
And the champion currently in bantamweight is
Nunez.
So okay, so
or she
it's a collision course.
She could fight 125.
She could, yeah, because she did drop. Yeah, she did drop to one. Yeah, she said go back up weight in the fight. If I'll double check on that while we'll continue with the when you guys go around and give your talk, I'll look and double check that. But it looks like if she continues to dominate in the world of boxing and go in there and show that she could fight MMA, because she just won with a rear naked choke or guillotine choke, and she has the skills to be on the mat and fight. That's inevitable. That that cross promotion will be a female version of a Mayweather, Conor McGregor, but but a more younger and where Nunez will still be in her prime, maybe in the upper ladder part by the time they get together, and they're both in the 30s, and then I think that would be a great fight down the road in a couple about a year, and they could get that. If they could somehow get that there, that's going to generate a lot of money, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Plus, that would be a unique path. She'd probably be the first and only female to hold and defend titles while hold and defend boxing titles while trying to claim an MMA title. And if she does claim an MMA title and decides to defend both, she'd be making history.
That would be historic.
Right, and she has.
But
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't think that's something any male has ever done. Anyone has ever done. She'd be making history.
The only thing I think of is back in the day, like 10, 11 years ago, Alistair Overeem, when he won the K1 Grand Prix, the Grand Prix tournament in kickboxing, which was when K1 had the best kickboxers, and was the I think Strikeforce or Dream Heavyweight Championship. That's the only thing I can think of is Overeem back in the day. That's like the closest, and that was impressive. Wolverine did, but this one might be a little bit more impressive if she does it. I mean, that's a long shot because MMA is MMA. You know, girl with better grappling all of a sudden takes her down and she can get destroyed.
Yeah, but how many title defenses did Alistair Overeem have for both titles?
I think one was Strikeforce. K1, it was a tournament back, the K1 tournament, which was like the big deal back in the day. That was the big. He next year he went to the finals, but lost to the guy he beat in the finals, Badahari, in the finals of the next year tournament.
Yeah, so it'd still be something unique, something never been done before. Like I don't think anyone's ever done that. Like, really defended a boxing titles while defending an MMA title.
Right? Yeah, that would be historic. But like I said, it'd be cool. It'd be cool if she can pull it off. Can she?
Yeah,
We'll find out.
yeah, we'll find out. Time will tell.
Also, got a question. Did you watch Tommy Fury fight or no, Chef Dan?
Uh, I tried to pay attention to it. I believe did was the MMA card going on at the same time?
No,
No, this was way after, right?
No,
I mean,
no. I
before.
missed that fight also.
No, this was the next
That was
day.
that
This
was
was
in
the next day. I'm sorry. I'm blending the days in.
no. This
I'm
was
sorry.
this was the Sunday fight. That actually
Yeah.
started off the program
I'm sorry. That
for
was so
the
cool. Yeah, that was. I
the Jake
watched
Paul
that
and
fight.
Woodley. Yeah.
I remember that was like because Tommy Fury is supposed to have this big hype about him, and then I watched that fight and I was not impressed. That's why I really don't have much memory of the fight. I was like watching it and was not impressed.
Gotcha. Yeah, I asked because he's
And
like I say he's
But I
Tyson
think
Fury.
I believe like some other sporting event was going on at the same time. Was the Giants playing the Patriots?
Yes, the Giants were playing the Patriots. The
Yeah,
Yankees
see,
were playing Sunday Night Baseball with the Athletics. I had that call on the watch along, so that's why I didn't get to watch the Tommy Fury fight against Anthony Taylor, and he won by an unanimous decision. And it was a 4-rounder fight. He won all three judges' cards, 40-36. So he dominated the whole round. So
yeah,
we could say what it was, but we didn't see it, so we didn't see the movement and what action was involved there.
Yeah, we'd have to move on from that because I really don't remember that fight.
Okay.
Now before we move on for the whole night of the Paul and Woodley, but Amanda addressed the situation with her corner on her page. Says it was a long process, being away, and she's finally home, and she's going to address her corner issue. Those that know what happened and why it was. I think the camp from Mercado, they wanted to pull out from the fight, and it was just all politics and all that nonsense. So I guess there were a lot of bad blood and just tiredness from it. But if she has fought at 124, she came in before the weigh-in at 125 pounds. And at the weigh-in, and then she ended up fighting at 132. So she could fight at those weights that we talking about. Either she weighed in at 124 exactly the night of the weigh-in, and then the night of fight she was 132. So with that said, if she's going to be looking at a main event card like that, that's what her corner needs to see that and make that adjustment. I know she will, because she's at the cusp of making history, and she be something that, not like you said, no male fighter or female fighter could do. So I think the adjustments will be there because she has a lot to gain. Very charismatic, fighter, smiling and humble as well in her interviews, and despite what happened, shenanigans behind her, but we'll keep an eye on her career or going forward. And I think the best is still yet to come for this young lady, and I think she'll start representing the New Yorkers, the proud, coming forward in all the mixed fighting sports. With that said, that will conclude the Woodley situation. There anything you want to add to that, Austin?
Well, if she's only at 132, I know Valentina was undersized and gave Amanda Nunes the toughest fights, but let's be honest, she should not be fighting 135. And if she does MMA, she's probably 125 or 115 or at best. those two weight classes because she'd be fighting 135. She'd be too small. So, and plus, who knows? Plus, I'm not sure what weight class she fought. To be honest with you, so yeah, if she does go MMA, probably 125, 135. I mean 115. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, hopefully the situation works out and good luck to Mina Serrano. And yeah, Tyron Woodley, being typical Tyron Woodley, the frozen one, as Kobe Covington called him, not the chosen one.
Let me ask a question. Didn't Brock Lesnar hold the UFC title and the WWE title at the same time?
No, oh no, he was not wrestling
No?
at that
Okay.
time. No,
Nope.
All
Nope.
right. I just wanted double check my facts there. All right. So
He was not doing that. Yeah.
So where we going with now, guys? We want to go. We're gonna break down the main card for UFC.
Yes, let's recap what happened last Saturday.
Wait, fellas, give me
All
one
right,
moment. I gotta take care of something. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, let me put the sticker real quick. We'll give Chef Dan a second here. We're gonna go over the fights. Hopefully it shows over there.
It shows, and before we continue on, I do want to answer a question from A to Z Media Network, which he asked.
Yes,
I think Woodley fights in the UFC or tries boxing last time before he retires. Personally, I don't see Dana White bringing it back. Him and Dana didn't get along, and obviously lost 4 in a row. Granted, all 4 of them were to the 4 to 5 best guys in 170-pound division, but still, didn't exactly look all that great in most of those fights. Also, yeah, I don't see him going back to UFC. I mean, plus, I think he boxes one more time, maybe before he retires. I mean, who knows? But yeah, definitely not UFC. Probably another MMA promotion if he does do MMA, or or maybe boxes again. I'm not sure. But thanks for the question, A to Z Media Network. Shout out to you and all to and everyone watching us, or watching live stream or earlier on.
I'll add Dan to the stream in a minute. Hopefully Dan's on.
I think he was just on.
There he is. All righty.
There we go.
Dan has returned. Yeah. Do you think Tyrone? Like, I'm gonna. Do you think Bellator would be a possibility for Woodley, or you think he's, or you think he's not gonna? Because you said that like what you just finished saying. Good point on that. But what do you see? Or you think he's just done with them? He is going to be close to 40, 39 years old. Maybe he's done.
Maybe Bellator, because Scott Coker was his first major promoter back in the Strikeforce days. I mean, maybe, but I have no idea if Scott's interested. That's a who knows. We just gotta wait and see to find out.
Okay.
The thing I'm most
I put. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, sorry. The thing I'm most afraid of with Tyron Woodley is like the guys are getting more. The younger guys are way more dangerous nowadays, and it seems like he's kind of leaving himself too vulnerable to these sudden attacks that these young guys have. Like they have just a burst of energy, and so I think maybe he if he wants to do the one more fight with Jake Paul and then go into Bellator, but he's being selective about his opponents, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we should just move on and talk about what happens that Saturday on the UFC card. I mean, some exciting fights. I mean, you want to start the main event, Dan, or?
Whew. Oh man, there were a lot of good fights. There were a lot of fighters that who won the Contender Series and were introduced to us, and I hope their opponents get more opportunities to show themselves, because it oh man. But let's start off with this main event. Giga Chikadze versus Edson Barboza. This was this felt like a championship fight. it had the tension of a championship fight because both these guys knew what they were good at, and they were both, generally specialists around the same area. So it was all about who was better at their craft. And it started off with, Giga showing off his speed advantage. He had the speed advantage. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching some of his fights and I noticed that he did have the liver kick and he was folding people, but I didn't see his glory days. So I watched some of those. Oh my gosh. He was folding people with that kick. And somewhere along the way, he caught Edson with that. And that's what really started the problems for Edson. But this had the tension of a championship fight. Like you could cut it with a you could cut it with a knife. The tension. It was a great fight. Both of these guys showed excellent technique. Edson, even though he was outsped by, he didn't have the speed to catch up with Giga. He showed excellent footwork in how to trap an opponent, how to move him where you want to. And when he wanted to land, he had the, opportunities. And he did land some good attacks here and there. And he had some good exchanges between Giga. But ultimately, Giga came out on top. But this was a great fight. Austin, what was your opinion?
My opinion is that I'm glad you brought the speed factor because I was going to bring it up because I noticed when I think about it, I noticed Giga just seemed faster than Edson Barboza. I'm not saying that was the only reason why he won because there's other things too, but that played a major role because like Edson, especially 155, was always known as being quick, but he was able to land more shots. And you mentioned the liver kick, which I do remember Giga did go for Edson's body several times, and obviously he's uncomfortable hitting the body, especially by someone who knows how to hit your body. And but Edson's fought back. I mean, Edson did land some leg kicks. It looked like the leg kicks were calf kicks were really Giga didn't like it, obviously. Well, ain't no one likes king kick in the calf, but it's somewhat affected them. They both had some of their moments. And you're right, it did have a championship like feel to it or tension, which I didn't think about until you mentioned just now. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. It felt like a main event. And if you remember last week, I think both of us were saying it was going to deliver regardless. It's going to be, a epic fight, long fight, or it's going to be a quick, someone's going to have a quick performance, and it delivered. I mean, Giga Chikadze is the real deal. He did great. A guy next to Barboza who was on a roll featherweight prior to this loss, and for him, and like I said, he has that kickboxing background. I believe 44 kickboxing fights Giga does, and he's a problem in that division, especially a lot of guys who know how to strike and stuff. And a lot of guys in that division top are mostly strikers, not a lot of grapplers, with exception like Ortega. And I think that's something where Giga can easily be a problem for most guys in that division. And he called out Max Holloway, which is a fight. I mean, definitely like to see him and Holloway fight eventually because I like to call Holloway the boogeyman of that division, basically. And to me, he's the unofficial champ. And 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 right, and like it'd be a fun fight if Holloway's be available. I don't know if he's supposed to fight Yair again or well, not again, but like scheduled to fight Yair again rather. So hopefully soon.
What I wanted to add on to what you just said, because it was very interesting that you brought that up, that he had called out Max Holloway, but he did also, say something else that was very interesting, and it puts him in an interesting category. And I saw a graphic that on UFC's Instagram page on who Giga should fight next. And but yeah, the first thing that he asked for before the Holloway fight was that he asked that if he could be the substitute fighter for the Ortega Volkanovski fight in case something goes down beforehand with the fight between one of those two. That's very interesting because
Right.
that puts him in a spot where he's going to be ready for a match very soon. he's also letting us know that after this, Edson Barboza fight, that he feels he's healthy enough to go again very soon. So that's important. The Max Holloway fight, when he called it out, it was very interesting. It made me almost forget that he has a fight scheduled with Yair Rodriguez. So when I even texted BX like, yo, that's a very interesting fight. I'd like to see that. The best boxer in the UFC versus quite possibly the best kickboxer in the UFC currently. That would be very interesting. But it it then pulled me towards the graphic that the UFC showed on its Instagram page, and it asked who should be his next opponent. But the only opponents that they asked was the only opponents that they gave him was the losers between both of those fights, and I believe there's a third opponent. I think he's ranked number 6 in the featherweight division.
I think so. I haven't checked the rankings, so I think he probably be that's probably right 6. I would think.
No, not Rice. This guy, his name's AA. That's that's his initials.
AA. I think the featherweights.
Let me see what I find. Let me see if I find the feather. Let me see if I find the featherweights.
But they possibly gave him the matchup with the 6th ranked featherweight, but it was very interesting because we have a guy who quite possibly could shoot up to becoming a contender very soon. It only takes one fight now. I believe for Giga Chikadze, it takes one fight.
I agree. One big performance, and he probably fight for the world title next.
I don't think it's a big performance. I think he just beats a guy in the top 5, and he secures himself. Or I wouldn't say top 5. Let me not say top 5. His next performance, if he just beats a guy convincingly, I think that's going to be enough that he calls his shot. Because by then, the Ortega Volkanovski fight would have been decided by then.
Right. And also, it's good to know that the Ortega Volkanovski's fight is 2 weeks away. Wait, is it 2 weeks? No. 3 weeks away from.
3 weeks away.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 weeks basically. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and so it's not that far off. So I guess he's still be in shape for that fight, be a backup, and if you do UFC, why not? Because you never know. You don't want to get close, and then you don't have a main event for. Oh, excuse me, for the that pay-per-view card. It'd be good if you have Giga, Giga step in for Volkanovski or for Ortega in case anything happens. Especially since it's International Fight Week too, which those are like the big UFC pay-per-views that they really care about. So, well, I care about all of them, but the International Fight Week's like a big deal for the UFC.
Man. If something, I don't know what the something would be were to happen, I can probably see this happening, and that's like Dana White throwing an interim featherweight title into the mix.
Well, that'd be if Volkanovski gets hurt or injured or something. Yeah, I could see him doing that. Because if Ortega gets hurt, that'll just be for the actual title. Although I do think, like I said, that Holloway's still the champ because I don't think Volkanovski won the second fight.
I don't. Oh man, people keep saying if you're complaining about it, still you need to get over it. I don't. Oh man, I don't even.
No,
I don't even want to. Let's not get into that. Let's stick to the card at present.
Okay, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Good point. I'll stick to the present card.
Yeah. Let's not go off on a tangent.
Okay.
Well, they should be the featherweight should be on the bottom ticker. Let me see if it's showing. Let me know if it's showing. If
It's
you
showing.
see it.
Yeah.
And those are I got the top. I got the top 5. You're looking for number 6. Am I correct?
Yes. We have Brian Ortega at number 2.
Yeah, here's
Yeah,
the 3.
3.
We'll have to be, I guess, Korean Zombie, Chang Sung Jung.
No.
Young Katis, number 5.
I got 5. I'll find you the top 10. I only found the 5.
Isn't it Arnold Allen?
But possibly, that's right.
Arnold Allen. I just got the name. I figured it out.
I know
Arnold
you said
Allen.
I know you said double A.
Double A. Yeah. As soon as I was like double A, Arnold Allen.
I don't know why.
Remembering it.
I don't know why. I was thinking he's possibly maybe he's the beat where he's ranked 6, but he hasn't fallen a long time. He's out the rankings. Plus, it doesn't make sense for double A, boys. Well, yeah, it's right. Arnold Allen. He's underrated. Even I forgot about him, and I recognize he's very talented.
Yeah, Arnold Allen. And so that's the third opponent that they had possibly for Giga Chikadze. And because Arnold Allen really hasn't competed in a while, he's pretty fresh. And that could be something that could be done possibly we're in September. In December?
Yeah.
It could be done in December.
Yeah, one of the rising contenders from England, UK, which I bring it up he's from the UK because when we previewed this week's card, there's a certain theme about that card involves the UK. You'll see what I mean.
Yeah, but
right.
Yeah, that's who they see.
So let's talk about the co-main.
Yeah, let's. Oh man,
let's talk about the co-main event. Let's
Brian battle.
Because there's a lot to unpack. Ooh, yeah. Go ahead. Take it away, Chef.
Brian battle. He came back and oh man, he's a fighter. He is definitely and when I say that term, I don't mean someone who professionally fights. What I mean is someone who, even when the odds are stacked against him and he's tired and it's not going right for him, he's going to keep looking and try and find a way. He is a fighter, and that's what he did for this fight, because on the feet, as far as the stand-up game, he wasn't really the best, but he was able to, contend a little with his opponent. When I believe his opponent initiated the ground attacks, and Brian Battle was able to reverse and find a way, and then he got him into oh man, was it a sleeper?
Rear naked choke.
Rear naked.
Rear naked. It's a rear naked choke.
Rear naked choke. I'm sorry, I was watching a lot of wrestling early.
That's okay. No,
yeah.
I watched it tonight, so yeah, I got confused.
Yeah, but he got him via rear naked choke, and it was, oh man, the guy, he earned that trophy. Brian Battle. I believe he was the last selected person on the Contender Series.
Ultimate Fighter.
I mean, on the Ultimate Fighter. He was the last person selected on the Ultimate Fighter. So, congrats to him. He came from an underdog, and he showed that he was a complete underdog in that fight. He fought like an underdog, like a guy who, I just got to find a way to win. I got to use every single skill that I've learned at my disposal. I can't forget anything. And that's the way he fought.
Right, and I do like his name, Brian Battle. I mean, he's a fighter, and he has that last name Battle, which goes well for him.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because Michael Bisping said it best. He has a great last name, but his nickname, I believe, is Pooh Bear.
What?
What the fuck? I'm sorry, bro. That's atrocious. Oh my gosh. Part of me not
Oh
wishes
my
he gets knocked
God, that's
out
a disservice.
badly. I
And
almost
that's a
want.
disservice
Oh
to
my
his last
God.
name. It is.
Come
But
on.
Yeah, he should have left it alone. Kill the middle name. You don't need it. Brian Battle, the man who battles, the warrior. Brian Battle, the warrior. That would have been perfect.
but
Oh my God. Speaking about the warrior, we got a new warrior, ultimate warrior slash in the UFC, and his name goes by Ricky Service. He beats Brandon Handstand and wins the Ultimate Fighting fight,
Fighter.
man. And his interview, Ultimate Fighter, the interview, the Ultimate Wish, Scott Steinerish, and what a personality! I saw his interview also on Ariel's program, MMA Live, MMA Talk.
MA
And he
hour.
was just phenomenal. It was a good interview too. MMA Hour. Excuse me for that, Ariel. I apologize for that, getting your wrong. And it was phenomenal. It was really good. And man, I also sent an invite to see where he come on. Right now he's just a little big time doing all the celebrity interviews around town. Don't hope he doesn't forget about the little guys. Because he seemed like a little guy climbing up the mountain there. But man, what could you say? He had an impressive fight with him bleeding. He actually put a battle me with his fighting on the octagon. I'll throw it around. Let's go start with Austin with that, and then we'll throw it to Chef Dan.
The fight itself was pretty excellent. It was an entertaining fight. It kind of gave me like semi vibes of like somewhat of Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonder. I'm not sure you've seen that fight, Dan. The first Ultimate Fighter finale when Griffin Bonner, that legendary fight that basically saved the UFC and basically started his success story that's on now. And like it had that vibe. I've seen that fight, that Griffin Bonner fight, and it's incredible. If you ever get a chance, watch it. But yeah, like I said, this fight had like that vibe. I mean, Brady Heinstead is is a guy who could be a potential contender in the bantamweight division, maybe. Now he trains with Michael Chiesa. I believe that's what I heard from the commentary team. And and he took down Ricky with not say ease, but he took him down like a lot, like 5 out of 8 takedowns, I believe he got. And but give Ricky credit, he was able to neutralize it and not allow it to he was able to fight back and pull off submissions and sometimes get up. I mean, and Ricky was able he landed a lot of the more impactful shots. Like he landed a lot of strikes and landed more impactful like strikes like I mentioned. That's why I believe he got the victory. It was a split decision, but the right guy in my opinion won because he landed more and went for more submissions. Brady did hit him some shots that did rock Ricky, but Ricky also I think dropped Brady in the third round if I'm mistaken. And like Brady they both got tired because they both put on a high pace, but I think Brady got a little tired first because the wrestling aspect and like kept taking room for the takedowns and stuff. Although there was one impressive takedown, the one I found the most impressive was this. Ricky rocked him and stunned him and he was hurt and he got dropped. But as he got dropped, he was able to secure his legs on secure a grip on Ricky's legs and then take him down, which is one of the more impressive takedowns I see. And Michael Bisping mentioned that on the commentary team, which he is correct on, and that deserves a shout out because both guys that were excellent. I mean, Ricky cut a memorable promo, good interview afterwards with Paul Felder and Ricky. Was able to spike off, spike getting taken down to be a throw off his back and go for submissions or strikes off his back and land, like I said, the more than impactful strikes. And this was an entertaining fight. I mean, this was really excellent fight. And both guys, hopefully, Brady does get a chance to fight in the UFC as well because I do think, because I think this is like a Stephen Bonner performance where Bonner got the contract after each fight losing to Forrest Griffin, and I think Brady did good enough performance where he should get a contract as well. But Ricky Tercio definitely give him a shout out for his victory, and I think he's from the Philippines or Filipino or something. So give he's Filipino. I don't
He's
know if he's from the Philippines.
half Filipino. No, his parents half Filipino and half Salvador. So he's a mix from Texas fighter. Now he Ricky Hadouken. So now it's Mr. Hadouken from a big MMA, big anime follower. A little bit about him, and also he sang karaoke in the backstage after the interview, and that's another thing he mentioned on the broadcast there. So he's a character. He's a character. He has the X factor as a showman outside the ring, and if he's continuing to fight that way, he's gonna got his stock is gonna keep rising. Chef Dan, Austin, when you're done, and Jed throw it over to Chef Dan to hear what he has to say about Ricky.
Right. And I was gonna say better nickname than Brian Battle. My ad Hadouken's better than or that disgraceful nickname is. I want to throw that out there. At least as a street fighter, which all like. And I'll turn it over to you, Dan. I'm sorry, I'll shut up now.
No, your analysis was great, but what I wanted to your analysis was great, but what I wanted to point out was I think Ricky had the more impressive damage in the first round where his opponent was able to take him down, right? And while he was taking him down, Ricky just kept throwing shots from the bottom. Like he just kept hitting him from the bottom, and he opened up Brady. He opened up Brady in the first round, like really cleanly in the first round. He really opened him up and had him leaking. So around that moment, that's where Brady Heinstead didn't want to shoot so much in the second round. That changed the complexion of the fight for Ricky, because if he didn't do all that striking on the ground, and I hear a lot of commentators say you shouldn't be striking from the ground, but we're seeing a lot of these new guys, they're breaking the rules. They're breaking the rules and making these unconventional things more conventional. So you see them you even see a guy like Kevin Holland against Jacare was able to get a KO from strikes from the bottom. So it was a very unique situation. But you see these guys now being able to do something like that. So when Ricky opened up Brady Heinstead in the first round like that, it really changed the complexion in the second round. Now you have Ricky doing a stand-up game, and granted, Brady did take him down. He took him down twice in the first round and twice in the second round, but then he took him down once in the third round, I believe, right? And that was the impressive takedown, and that's how he got 5 out of 8 takedowns. Because in the second round, he did try for more takedowns. Ricky was able to stuff them. And what really impressed me was in that second round, like you said, Ricky was going for more takedowns. I believe because he opened up Brady in the first round, in the second round, whenever Brady was able to get a top position on Ricky, all he did was stay on top of him to catch his breath. Versus Ricky, you see him trying to torque Brady's arm in some weird position from time to time from the bottom, trying to get a submission and doing the striking while he has the arm, torqued in a weird position. It was a very, very entertaining fight. High output from both of these guys, and what I really wanted to get to this fight was because earlier on the UFC's Twitter page, they nominated this fight for Fight of the Year. I mean, for Fight of the Night. Sorry, Fight of the Night.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Right.
But then they removed it.
They removed it?
Why?
They removed the picture. Now you ask why, right? And a lot of people speculated it was like, oh, granted, that Ricky's about to get some prize money for winning the Ultimate Fighter. They're guessing that the UFC didn't want to give him the bonus on top of that.
Got you.
Now, I don't understand why that would be, but I know Giga and Edson Barboza, the Giga and Edson Barboza fight didn't happen yet, but even after watching the that fight, I sat there and, I watched the recap of all the fights. And I remember telling myself that night, even after watching that championship level fight, I still felt that the Ricky Tercios Brady Heinstead fight was the fight of the night to me. I felt like that fight.
I'm gonna
Go ahead.
no. When you're done, I have another fight that I think why they changed it, and I kind of disagree with you. But finish your point, and I don't want to jump all over the card either. But I think there's another fight that I think is fight of the night, in my opinion. But we'll get to that when we cross that bridge.
Yeah, but this fight, because I feel like both fighters gave themselves a chance to win this matchup. Because Brady Einstead was not Ricky Tercios was clearly better than him in on the stand-up game, but Brady did rock him a couple of times, and it changed the fight for Ricky, and it changed it to where Ricky had to close in and go for shoots and try to go for takedowns. So it was a back and forth fight. It was a great fight. Neither fighter felt completely out of it, but at the end of the third round, you clearly felt, okay, Ricky Tercios won this fight. I feel like if the judges do not give it to Ricky Tercios, it would be robbery. But yeah, I felt like that was the fight of the night to me.
I was okay with the split decision. The referees they had it 29-28 for, of course, the winner Churcio, and they also had 28-29 for stand. So you know what? It was good. The in this case, it was okay with the judging the way they called it. It wasn't a unanimous. It's good to see. At least we saw a judge thinking that Brandon Hempstead, with all the takedown, it did enough to win on his scorecard. With that said, which do you want to continue with the main card, or do you want to go with the fight of the night that I think it's up to your guys' direction with that. You want to go to Daniel Rodriguez, Kevin Lee, and the controversial Kevin Lee, or you want to which directions you guys would like to go?
I kind of want to say let's save the fight of the night. Let's save the fight of the night because
Okay.
I had some controversial Kevin Lee takes.
Ooh, I want to hear this. Okay, let's talk about it.
I'm gonna go get water.
No,
Give
no,
me a
no.
second.
See, I just finished talking about the Ricky Tercios fight. So, Austin, I would love to hear your opinion about the Kevin Lee Daniel Rodriguez fight. Because
okay.
I remember when we talked about the card beforehand, I said I was on Kevin Lee coming back at a welterweight. I didn't, I wasn't too high or too low on the idea, but you were more excited about the fight. So tell me what you saw in this fight.
Well, I was more interested in the fight because Kevin Lee's a big name. That a lot of people have hyped as a potential future world champion. Kevin Lee's never been honestly my favorite fighter. I'm not saying that after he lost. I'm just saying that in general. I think I said it last week too, and and I was wanting to see maybe because 155. I think he had it was like a bad cut for him at times, or like maybe at times he was like too big for it. So I want to see so we see a lot of fighters. They go up and weight and they have success at once. The upper weight class, and plus Daniel Rodriguez was 15-2 prior to this fight. So I want to see. Oh, this might be a challenge. What's going to happen? And Kevin Lee, took him down. He was and did well when he got with the takedowns, and that's why he won the first round. But it looked like he might have, I don't know, gassed himself out, or Daniel Rodriguez was able to stop the takedowns, figure out. And once he did, I mean, Kevin Lee was screwed, could do anything. It was Daniel Rodriguez's fight. Daniel Rodriguez, landed more shots, did landed more kicks. I think maybe took Kevin Lee down. I believe I could be wrong. I probably am wrong, but yeah, the second and third round with Cleo Rodriguez fights, and Daniel Rodriguez won 29-28. Right call. That he won the last two rounds, and Kevin Lee. I mean, I don't know what to make of him. I think the MMA media might have hyped him up way too much several years ago, and looked like he wasn't. It looked like, I mean, first of all, Dan Rodriguez looks big for 170. I'm just gonna be honest with you. He looks like a middleweight, personally. I don't know, that or Kevin Lee smaller than I thought. Maybe it could be one of the two. I think it's more so Rodriguez just big for the weight class. I mean, I think he's put him next to Usman. He may make Usman look like a regular welterweight. See how big Rodriguez looked. But but yeah, I think with, it looked like Kevin Lee. Like, I'm trying to find the right words. Looks something was missing, and looks like it seems. I think I forget who mentioned it, but it seems like his striking defense is not always great. Like he's too easy to hit sometimes, and it looked like it showed again with the Rodriguez fights. And I think that's what really cost him this fight. I think is that, and give Rodriguez credit. Daniel Rodriguez took this fight on 2 weeks' notice, and he had just fought I think last month, so two victories in a month. So give him props for stepping up, getting 2 victories, up in his stock as well. And who knows? Maybe Daniel Rodriguez might be a prospect. Look out for in this welterweight division. Maybe he's top 10 by this time next year. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe not. But yeah, good victory for Rodriguez. Kevin Lee, I mean, I don't know what's up. Like I said, I do think some people in MMA media might overhype you. But I'll turn over to you, Dan.
Okay. After that fight finished, I can understand what you were saying. I can understand what your viewpoint is, Austin. I really can. After that fight, I was more excited for Kevin Lee than I was for Daniel Rodriguez. It's a weird saying that, right?
Yeah, how?
It's weird. Okay. When I was watching the first round, I saw everything that they were talking about with Kevin Lee. And if anything, he looked way more comfortable in that weight class than he did his previous weight class, I feel. I feel like if anything, he bulked up a lot for Daniel Rodriguez. And that's his first detriment in this fight. Because it's never just one thing with with the downfall, right?
Right.
But when I saw him, he's not a slouch on the hands. He just needs to learn, like with the stand-up game, he needs to learn to move his head, right? But I believe that he chose not to do that because he knew he didn't have the stamina to last for the 3 rounds if he continued to do something like that. And even though he didn't move his head and he didn't have all that great defense, he was still able to land great shots with Daniel Rodriguez, especially in that first round. I think he dominated in that first round. We all saw clearly, right?
Right.
Okay. What happened was he relied so much on the takedown that when Daniel Rodriguez began to learn his timing and stuff the takedowns, his bad defense left him vulnerable. And so Daniel Rodriguez picked him apart. Everything you said was correct, right? He ended up, in essence, becoming a one-trick pony.
Right.
But we've seen guys like this who are good enough on the hands and good enough with the ground game that they just need to learn how to mix it together. Which is why when I saw Kevin Lee, I said, oh my God, you know what tape he should watch?
What?
Which would excite me because I see him making the exact same adjustments that this person should make. And that's Brian Ortega versus the Korean Zombie.
Okay.
Learning sometimes that your takedown is such a threat that if you just threaten with it, you can gain an advantage with the hands. And don't forget your feet, because he was, I believe, part of the first round, and why he was able to dominate the first round was because he was able to land some leg kicks. Daniel Rodriguez was also able to land some leg kicks, and Kevin Lee later on didn't like the leg kicks. But if he just kicked back, I feel like Daniel Rodriguez would have slowed down his pace on the leg kicks. Because when he did kick back with Daniel Rodriguez in the second round, Daniel Rodriguez edged it. I feel like he edged the second round. He didn't dominate the second round. He dominated the third round. And that's what gave him the fight. But he edged the second round because Kevin Lee was able to throw back some of those leg kicks. So what I saw was a guy who he was so reliant on his takedown that he forgot that his hand skills and that his explosiveness with, his dynamic athleticism was the reason why he was able to get to be what he was, to be the prospect that he was. Also, I believe he came off 2 surgeries, right?
Yeah, I think he did have a surgery after the Oliveira fight.
So how much layoff time did he have?
He fought March 2020, the first pandemic show. Before Brazil, that was March 2020. It's about like a year and not 17 months.
A year and 17 months inactivity.
Oh,
We've seen a couple of but we've essentially a year, 17 months. We've seen a year and 5 months, a year and a half, essentially. A year and a half.
Yeah, around 16, 18 months around there. Yeah.
Okay, so realistically, how much time was recovery versus training camp?
Right. Good point.
So now coming into this fight, I'm more excited about Kevin Lee because now that you watch this fight, you understand, don't be so reliant on your takedown. You have great hand skills. Don't forget your legs. Don't forget your kicks. Don't forget any of that. But you do have the threat of the takedown. Use the threat of the takedown to set up other things. That way, when it's time to use the takedown, you can use the takedown in the second round and get things done. Yeah, you might be a little bit more sweaty, so it might be tougher to to get the takedown. But if you use the threat of the takedown and you knocked around your opponent enough, you've got him dazed. You've got him confused. He doesn't know what to believe. He's going to be more susceptible to certain things. That's why I was more excited about Kevin Lee. I feel like you come out this fight. He didn't come out this fight with heavy damage. I feel like he recovers. He watches the tape. He gets back in the gym, and we see a bit leaner, but he's still gonna have that size on him. We're gonna see that type of Kevin Lee, and I'm sorry, I was just more excited to watch more Kevin Lee after this fight. I'm also excited about Daniel Rodriguez. He's a very exciting prospect. Like you said, I feel like he's way too big for this division. I feel like his I don't know. He cuts weight and makes it on the scale, but when it's time to get in the ring, he puts back some weight easily. And so I think he should be more comfortable in middleweight, but
maybe.
I agree
with you about the middleweight.
But I'm more excited about watching more Kevin Lee. I think he stays in this division.
You think so? I mean, I don't know. With Kevin Lee, it's like, to me, it's like I feel like he always has these roadblocks. Like he'll win one, and then everyone gets on him, and then he'll lose his big fights. Where since the Tony Ferguson, I think, since he fought Tony Ferguson for an interim lightweight title, he's 2-5. And we'll see. And maybe to be fair, he is still young. He's 27, 28, so maybe he can turn around, to be fair. But I just don't know. It's like this week going in, he was talking about, Habib and stuff, like, like how he always wanted a Habib fight, but Habib never fought any like grapplers. It's like you should be focused on Daniel Rodriguez, not talking about Habib and the Dagestani guys.
He's just promoting. I believe he was just promoting in that moment. But what I can say is that, I say he stays in the welterweight division because the welterweight division right now is grooming killers.
Yeah.
I feel like in that division, it's kill or be killed. This is the division he tests himself. This is the division that we find out who Kevin Lee is. I don't think he should be worried about ranking in this division right now because everyone in this division is a killer. I feel like he should just more so be worried about recovery and then his next opponent. And then getting healed, getting right within training camp, having that training camp, getting a full training camp. And then you have that opponent. You heal correctly after that opponent, and then you get a right training camp. You go through this division slowly, because sooner or later, you're going to reap your rewards. I don't think it's about rank in this division. Kamaru Usman is wiping out the rankers in this division because he's fought them twice now. He's on the second loop. He's on a track for the GSPs. So you're gonna want to catch him before he gets to GSP. At that moment, he's gonna after. Oh man, I don't want to spoil what we're gonna talk about later with the card that was released, but after that whole shebang, after that whole shebang, he's probably gonna want a new contender, someone who's gonna show themselves. It's probably gonna be a Vicente Luque, something around that. But after Vicente Luque, you're gonna want to show yourself. And I think that if Kevin Lee has the right number of matchups, he presents himself as a guy who can take on Kamaru Usman, or at least somewhere along the way. I feel like Kamaru is going to make GSP want to come back.
I'm going to disagree with that. The Kevin Lee.
Austin?
I got show me something, Kevin Lee. That's my point. I don't know. No.
It's right there for him. It's right there for him. That's all I'll say because, oh man, I'm stuttering so much. Dana White did show, the same amount of, disappointment that you've shown,
Patience.
Talking about,
okay.
With the, loss of patience with Kevin Lee. But I say, just a year and a half. And what was the surgery I believe he got?
I don't remember, honestly. I know you got surgery. That's all I know.
I'll find.
It might have been his back.
No, I don't think it was that.
Or his leg or something like that.
Not sure, yeah.
I'll find out. Give me a minute.
I feel like he had 2 surgeries. So coming back from 2 surgeries.
No, he tore his knee. He tore his ACL and undergo a second. He had 2 knee surgeries. Kevin Lee. He tore his ACL and he had a second surgery, and that happened exactly a year ago.
Thiago Santos, man.
Yeah, I mean, if he ends up like that, I mean, he definitely not getting Usman.
No, and I'm not saying that, but with Thiago Santos, remember my complaint, and we've noticed it. We've all said it on the panel. What we felt with Thiago Santos is that he didn't give himself enough time to heal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I feel like that's the same case, but this time, but luckily enough, hopefully he's not as hard-headed as Thiago Santos, because Thiago, he fought within the next month after his first loss, after his first comeback. So I don't, hopefully he's not as hard-headed. He gives himself the time to heal, gets a full training camp, 3 months. So hopefully we don't see Kevin Lee for 4 months. But a lot can change, and a lot can happen in the UFC. You're saying it's not possible for him to make a name for himself. 2 fights. I feel like in 2 fights, a guy, if he impresses enough, you're seeing Giga Chikadze make a name for himself. It's all about how you make a name for yourself. Coming back off of a loss, let's say he fights someone in a dramatic he fights and wins and KOs someone in a dramatic fashion, and then along the way Daniel Rodriguez has also gained some more ranking, so he calls for the rematch with Daniel Rodriguez. Let's say he then finished Daniel Rodriguez in a dramatic fashion. What happens now? He's a viable name in the welterweight division.
Right. Yes, I agree. But this guy's shown me this point. Like,
This is what I'm saying. Showing, it's show and tell time, but it's all about first getting right. I feel like he just has to get right.
Right.
name.
I think Kevin Lee needs to take the rest of the year off, get conditioning strength from his knee and so forth. And like you said, he has a high, but unfortunately, he has a high mountain to climb. Is it feasible? Yes, it is in the UFC. Like you said, 2 impressive fights, but I think his days of main cards are for now on hold. He'll be a prelims, in my opinion, going forward. Maybe a main event in the prelims fights, and going forward until he shows and Dana White and his staff that he's ready to be on that main card status. And right now, his contract might be in jeopardy to even continue in the UFC because the crowd was not. And he got a lot of backlash on the social media, and like Austin says, the MMA Twitter is really harsh, But we shall see with that young man. The community, they're really harsh, and we'll just see with Kevin Lee. I think personally, finished. Don't no more fight for the rest of the year. Start new year, new beginning. 2022. Start the new training. Work on conditioning. Right now, condition that knee because 2 tears on your ACL is nothing to write home about. That is tough. Now, if he comes back, new year, take his first fight at the end of January or the middle of January. I think he should be in the right step, and also try to choose it. Well, I don't think they choose their opponents, but if he gets an opponent where it favors him, and like you said, get an impressive victory, then you get another second impressive victory, and then you're on that path that you were talking about, Dan. And I don't think it's to see where Austin's point comes when he says you got to show me, you got to prove it, because this at the end of the day we want to keep eyeballs on, and if you bring a guy like Kevin Lee to come out there and already the crowd isn't and the fans aren't so lukewarm with him, and are not really, too enthusiastic with him, he's got to show you something because you can't keep trotting him out there, in my opinion. So he won. He lost that fight both on all 3 judges. It was a unanimous 29-28, all 3 unanimous. So we'll keep an eye on Kevin Lee's career there.
And that's the crazy part. Like you're watching.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Like that's what I want to say, Austin. Like I understand he got dominated in the 3rd round, but he still dominated his opponent for a round. We can't take that away from him. Like that round was a dominating fashion, and if he just had,
I wouldn't go dominate. He didn't dominate. He won that round.
He dominated the first round.
No, he did not. He won that round. He did. He was well. Did well. He won, but dominated with 10-8. That was not a 10-8 round.
Okay, so then if we can debate that. We can debate that for later time as far as semantics. But he did win a round. It wasn't a 3-0 flat where he looked out of sorts. It looked like he won a round. He got gassed. The opponent took advantage of that and then continued on and won the fight.
Right.
But he still won a round.
Right.
He did win. He won that round. Going forward, do you think he should go drop 1 weight class down? Maybe will benefit him.
Stay 170.
No, stay.
Okay. All right. So
I said, after
we shall see.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, but after this year, I know you said maybe look for an opponent that favors him, but after taking the rest of the year off, I say you go to Dana White and you tell him, hey, you give me anyone you want to give me in this class. If you feel like it's a guy you feel like he can beat me up and take over the weight class, go ahead. Put me in a cage with him. I'm hungry. I'm ready. I want this. And you send that message to Dana White and the matchmakers, and that's the way you get back into good graces and you get that matchup. But take the year off and heal properly.
I agree with that. So we shall see with Kevin Lee, and we'll keep an eye on his career with that. And that concludes the lead Rodriguez. Let's go with DeAndre Podorowski and Michael Gilmore matchup. We'll talk about that third round K. With that, let's throw it around. Let's go with you, Dan. Let's continue since you're what's your thoughts on that fight?
Oh, I don't remember that fight.
I didn't see this fight. There's only one other fight I saw on this card. To be honest, and I'll talk about it when we get to the prelims.
Yeah, I don't remember that fight because I'm watching the the ticker under us, and I definitely remember the Gerard Meerschaert fight, like the Gerald Meir.
Oh, let's go to the Meerschaert.
I don't remember
that.
Yeah,
we could break that down, but I'll summary that one quick. Podorowski got him with a couple good punch and just took over in the third round, and it was because Gilmore got a little gassed. He got gassed going in that third round, and it was a close fight, but he just Andre just took over with his pure power and got some good punches.
I believe
took
he
him to
got
the ground
a KO via unresponded strikes, right?
Exactly, unrestricted strikes, and the referee protected the fighter. He ducked down, protected. He got hurt, and he just ducked down and went to the fetal position, and he went, and before getting pummeled to the ground, the referee wisely called it, and he got that third round because he was exhausted. He got hit with a good punch. He was exhausted, and he wasn't going to take unnecessary punches. So good call on the referee on that fight, and Podorowski went. But let's go. Now we go with the Gilmore Gerard Meerschaert fight, and go ahead and break it down. Go ahead, Dan. You go first with third round Austin.
This was literally the setup for the Brian Battle fight, where the underdogs took over, because Gerald looked like the complete he lost the first round completely. It was I was kind of panicked for him because I was like, oh man, this did not look good for him. I did not understand how he was going to win this fight. Mahmoud Muradov, he the stand-up game in the first fight, in the first round, was excellent from him. There was nothing Gerald could do with him. There was nothing. It was nothing he could do with him on the stand-up game. And so he had to muck up the fight in the second round. And so when he got the submission on him, like, it was surprising to me because I was watching the second round, and then I started to lose interest. So I looked away for a moment, but then I looked back and I'm like, wait a minute. Does he no, this isn't going to, and he's got him. And then he started tapping, and I was like, wow. Like, don't ever count out anyone in the UFC. Not only can a punch change a fight, but just a little grappling can change the fight too. If someone doesn't know what you're going for, sometimes it can change the complexion of the fight. And I believe he started off trying to go for a Darce choke or something like that, and then he flipped over and got into a rear naked, I believe. Or was it a
rear naked choke?
Yeah, but he started off with the Darce, and the way he started off trying to get the Darce, it was like the way these jiu-jitsu guys are just so fluid with the technique. It's like, if I can't get you here, I'm gonna abandon it. But while I'm abandoning this chokehold, I'm keeping you in position, and I'm moving myself and my arms around your body. I'm going to move my whole body around your body, snake-like. And that's why the symbol of jiu-jitsu is the snake. The way they move is snake-like. And his movement was fluid right into the rear naked choke. And it was just excellent. It just surprised me. I was like, I didn't see that coming, but he got it done. And it was a great upset. It was a great upset. I believe someone won
Austin.
Someone won $13,000 and showed their ticket on Twitter. Kudos to you. You bet on GM3, man. Congratulations to you.
Congrats to that guy.
Wow.
Good man. That's pretty dope, man. $13,000 cartwheels. That's what I'll be doing. But like I said, I didn't see the rest of the main card or most of the prelims. There's only one other fight I saw. I didn't get to see the comeback of Jerome Richard. I mean, unfortunately, it's not like
man.
that's what I describe it. It's like, oh dang, it's like a Darren Elkins he pulled.
Yeah, he was losing that fight, and he just happened to get in the right position to try to get that first type of submission, and then and ultimately ended into the near naked choke. And I was shocked that he topped. It just came out of nowhere, and it's never anything could happen.
I believe he countered Muradov, right? He got him on the floor via a counter, because it was like the way the stand-up game was going, Muradov, he had his number, but Gerald still could throw a counter here or two. And you saw that he was landing the counter, and it was affecting Muradov a little bit, but it wasn't to the point where you felt like, Gerald was going to win the fight off of the counters. But it was a great setup.
Right, and right, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's always like I'm trying to think how often that happens out of nowhere submissions. Not often, I think, right? Submissions that come out of nowhere where guy's losing or looks like something's happening, and all of a sudden he's got a Darce choke. I'm trying.
You usually get it with a right. You usually get it with a flying Superman punch or spinning kick or something, a strike. Usually a strike is what gets you that grand slam, but you rarely see the submission out of nowhere.
Or everyone's favorite now, the flying knee.
Yeah. With that said, let's go with the. Did anyone see the rest of the undercard, or should we go right to the fight?
Yes. No, I BX. I know you saw the rest of the undercard. I want to talk to you about it.
What was your fight tonight? You kept talking about it. What is it?
Yeah, because you hinted the fight of the night.
No problem, which is fine. The fight of the night, in my opinion, and I was very excited, and it was Abdul Razid Alazam. He defeated Asli Di Charro, and he beat him in the first round with 17 seconds. He knocked the boy out. I mean, he knocked him out and he's still knocked out right now until next week. And the guy was losing. He was like a Kevin Lee trajectory, losing a couple fights. He was humbled. His son says, "Daddy, I don't want to see you fight no more because you lose." So the guy was like, man, he was feeling it. He went out there, hunger. He trained and went and got it, and he was hungry. That's why, in my opinion, was the fight of the night, because there was it was a career at stake, in my opinion, because he's like, man, if I go into this octagon and lose again, and not only my son doesn't even want to watch the fight because I'm losing, what am I questioning himself as a fighter? Especially fighters, being from the outside, I respect them, a male or female, because what they put sacrifice to be away from their families, to eat right, to condition themselves. Sometimes you have cravings. We have a craving for an ice cream. We go to an ice cream. They are so disciplined, and they have to live and train, sleep and train, MMA fighting. And for him to go out there in the ring and that's pure hunger right there and determination. That's why, me personally, I say he's the fight of the night and win that bonus. Because like you said, he's gonna get that bonus for winning, and he did a good fight. But this dude's knockout was like one of the best, and that's not the best one of the weekend, by the way. And we'll talk about that later on. We break the Madison Square Garden news coming forward. So to me, he came out there and with all those variables and with all those behind him and on top, that mattered. And that's why I personally am going to salute him for fight of the night. And to me, that's why he deserved that bonus, in my opinion.
When you put it in that way, I completely understand your point. I see it exactly the way you see it. Like Ricky is like, yeah,
Right,
yeah. I
and
no, it wasn't, and it isn't to like. It's like Ricky already was in a situation where he knew what he was gonna win if he gets, the Ultimate Fighter prize. So he's gonna get a purse for
Right.
that already.
right.
But that KO, that KO, that woo, woo! I was screaming. I was screaming. Thank you for bringing it up. Yes, thank you for bringing it up because I want to finish talking about this card. But that KO, I believe it was a high kick right to the head. It was just straight.
No, it was it? Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah,
It
yeah,
was a high
yeah. You
kick, the
got him.
right, the
I
right
wish I
leg,
wish I
right.
could play. I wish I could play
Copyright,
highlights, but
copyright. We
unfortunately
can't.
YouTube
Yeah.
Oh, copyright.
But it was a high kick to
cannot
the
play it,
head.
folks. We'll get to that point. We'll get to that point when we can.
Yeah, folks, I'm letting you know
Yeah.
right now.
Let me see if I
Look
get the
up
picture.
this man's name. I if you could pronounce it one more time, BX.
Sure, it's Abdul Raskin Alahim.
Look that up, everyone,
He's
because that
he's the guy. Guyanian from Ghana, from the country of Ghana in Africa, native. Here in now in Texas, and of course a family man. He was, and you could tell after the press interview, and I'll give it right back to you, Dan. He was very humbled with the fight, the victory, and just the training, and that's why he won me over too. With just the way he conducted. That's with that said, and go ahead. Dan.
exactly like you said. That's why he also, because it wasn't about showboating or anything like that. He just when they asked him why, what do you want to say right now? It's just dedicate this to my son. My son said, please, daddy, don't lose anymore. And so, it's just fulfilling my son's wish. And so that was, yeah, that he definitely deserved fight of the night. I agree with you. I agree with you there. And Ricky Tercios and Brady Heinstead was definitely a great fight. And hopefully Brady Heinstead finds a way into the UFC because both those guys threw some leather and it was great. But yeah, Abdul definitely deserved fight of the night. Before I talk about the fight that I do want to talk about, I want to talk about this fight because apparently there is some controversy within this fight. Austin, I don't know if you saw any of the highlights with this fight, but Wellington Turman versus Sam
Alvi.
but what's his name again? Sam
Sam Alvi.
Sam Alvey. Sam
Sam
Alvey.
Alvey.
Yes. And Sam Alvey after the fight was irate and upset because he felt that the judges robbed him of the fight. BX, I know you saw that fight. What did you think?
Yeah, I did. I did. No, Alvy, you lost. You didn't. You lost. You did lose that fight. And I think, and they say they'll bring him back, but man, with that display and that attitude, man, it felt like wow. I could see the. I won't be surprised. I never see him fight in the UFC again. But he lost that fight. But before we break that again, I just want to put this on the screen real quick. Of course, I cannot show you a video, but I could at least give you the pictures, image of the kick.
It's a right
Hopefully it
leg.
comes
Yep.
through there. Is it showing
I
yet?
see it. Yes, yeah, it's showing.
It's
It's showing.
showing. And it was that
He
right
did.
leg. Ladies and gentlemen, that right leg is powerful. That man is still asleep right now.
Yeah, that was a really good kick on there. And yeah, with that, we're back to the Avery and Wellington Thurman fight. Yeah, Thurman did enough to win that fight, in my opinion.
I I completely agree with you there. And the way Sam Alvey was like the way he was carrying on, Like this is my issue with this fight, and I don't want to talk about it too much because I want to get to the last fight that I'm talking about because it was a great fight for however long it was, but it was a great fight. But Wilmington Turman did enough to win that fight. He brought enough forward pressure, and with his forward pressure, he was always attacking. That's the difference. Sam Alvey was backing up and he was trying for counters here and there. But then he would hold on to Wilmington, gain his breath, move back, and then he'd go for counters here and there. And then he'd try and rush a little when he had the opportunities, but he was inconsistent with his pressure. And so my issue with Dana White saying, and I don't want to say, for the man to lose his job, to lose his profession. But with Dana White saying that he's bringing him back, at least what I want Dana White to do is at least get him around a different trainer, maybe, who's going to look at that tape and tell him, you're inconsistent with your pressure. You're in the octagon for 15 minutes. You have 15 minutes and you can't leave it in the judge's hands anymore. You have great power, but you're inconsistent with your pressure. There is no reason for you to be inconsistent with your pressure. Gain a better gas tank. You should be doing better cardio. If you really want to be a UFC fighter, you should have better cardio. He completely lost this fight. It's exactly as you
Yeah,
said. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I totally agree on that.
Wilmington Turman did enough to win that fight, and that's all I'm going to say on that. I don't wish for Sam Alvey to lose his spot on the UFC, but he has power. And there were times where he wobbled Wilmington Turman, but Wilmington still held on and kept the forward pressure going. And like you said, he did enough to win that fight. And Sam Alvey just needs to be more consistent. But Pat Sabatini.
Oh, this fight, yes, the submission.
Yes. Versus what's
Jamal Emmers.
Jamal Emmers. Oh my God. This it was a heel hook, right?
Yeah, both were going for a leg submission.
Both of them were going for leg submissions. But Pat knew what he was going for. Oh my God. I don't, it was surprising to me because the way he got it was it was so vicious. That was the only way I could describe it. He was vicious with his intent and he got it. And heel hooks, Michael Bisping he just kept urging it while they were both going for it. He was like, please, guys. Oh my God. If you feel the pressure, just tap. Because once it hurts, it's too late. Once it hurts, it's too late. Please, guys. And Jamal Emmers did not, because Pat Sabatini, I believe he's also a training partner of Michael Chiesa. And oh man, he was just vicious. I don't know, Austin. Did you see this?
I saw some of the highlights. Like, they were showing like the final sequences, and I thought, wow, they're both going for leg submissions. Wow, I wonder if someone's gonna pull it off. And Sabatini pulled it off because immediately, Jamal was in pain, tapped immediately, and like, oh, that's impressive. Like, oh, good, man, dang, that's painful. But good job, Pastor Sabatini, to get the heel hook first. Or his leg submission first and make him tag, because it was a cool sight. So both guys doing his leg submissions. You wonder who's gonna get it, and he gets it. So yeah, man. I mean, I know Michael Bisping said that, which Bisping's right, because that's the worst. The worst submissions are the joints, like those you tap immediately. Because if you're getting choked out, you just go to sleep and then you're gonna wake up. But ligaments and the joints, that's gonna you don't tap immediately.
It takes away time from an
Yes.
athlete, and that's what you don't want.
Yeah,
and I completely agree with you there. But Michael Bisping, oh man, the commentator. I don't, for different sports, different commentators. Just Michael Bisping. I love listening to him. Oh! Why'd you show it? Oh, You showed it. Oh,
I get the
ladies and
visual.
gentlemen, that was, and he
Okay,
did it with
take it off.
vicious intent.
There it is. Let me remove
You
it.
see, he has the leg bending in a way it's not supposed to.
Right.
And that's what he did. And I believe Jamal Emmers left in a stretcher.
Probably. I mean,
Yes, the
hopefully
torn ACL.
Torn ACL. And those type of, and oh man. But I don't want to say I don't want to feel like Pat. I don't want to come off saying like Pat Sabatini is a villain or anything like that.
no,
Because
MMA.
it's MMA, right? But what I do want to say is Jamal Emmers initiated the leg locks, and that was something I definitely took note of. When they got down on the ground, he initiated the leg locks, and he tried and he went for it, and he almost had it. But then Pat got him in a compromising submission. And as soon as he gave up his leg lock, it opened up for Pat Sabatini to get in the way he wanted to. And he was just more technically sound with his leg lock, with his heel hook. And so that's what happened there. And so Pat Sabatini, kudos to you. I want to see you again in the ring. That's what I wanted to say for that. He came at it with vicious intent, and as soon as he knew what Jamal Emmers was going for, that's why he did what he did. And it was almost like a spiteful act. Like, you were going to do this, so now I'm going to do it with more technically sound way. I'm going to show you how to correctly do it. And that's the way he attacked it. Pat Sabatini, I salute you. If you ever come on the show, man, that was an excellent showing of grappling. And you can never get, I don't know, some MMA fans within the building, when they're watching live, they can get bored with the grappling sometimes, but that's all about positioning, and that's a chess match within itself. So, maybe because they don't get the camera angle, so they don't see where the hands and the legs are going. But us watching at home, when you get to see those things and you hear a guy like Michael Bisping, describing it, or when you hear a guy like Daniel Cormier saying, describing what's going on and why it's a chess match going on between these two athletes, it's wonderful. It was, and that's what happened there. That's what happened, I feel, there. And Michael Bisping was right all the way. Like, as soon as you feel it, tap, please. Don't lose time for sake of pride. Don't think you can get out of it. Just tap and save yourself time. Like, you can always bounce back from a loss, but it's way harder to bounce back from an injury.
Especially ligament damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to review one more fight in the undercard, and will be the Hiccup versus Darren Stewart fight. That one ended in a first round KO from Justin Jacoby.
No, that's not.
This is it. That's my guy. All right, let me see if I find it there. But that one was the final fight that we, before we go to in there. What did you see that one, Chef Dan?
I believe so, but the picture would have to remind me. But before you get the picture up, I also want to shout out the women's fight. The I believe what's the I don't want to forget their names.
JJ Aldred. It's JJ Aldred and Vanessa Demopoulos.
Okay, JJ Aldridge was a beast in that fight. She kept the forward pressure and dominated the entire fight. Yes, but I remember seeing that fight. Yes, that was very surprising. That was very, very surprising. Darren,
that was the knockout Stewart. There.
Darren the Dentist Stewart.
There you go.
Yes, I remember that. And it flipped because Darren had the advantage at first, and it was a battle strictly on the stand up game, and Darren had the advantage at first, but then his opponent got a counter, and Darren was rocked, and that was it. And then he just headhunted, smelled blood in the water, and headhunted, and that was the way that fight ended. That was a great KO.
That was a good one. That was a really good one, and he just ended. He got the good punch in. He saw that he backed him up, and the dentist just went and finished it. He didn't even wait it. He attacked, and kudos to him for finishing. And it's like he smelled blood in the water, and he took care of it.
Yeah, good for him because that's you mentioned it. It's like he did the opposite time. Woodley didn't take advantage of the blood in the water. Kobe actually did with Stewart, and and you see something, Dan?
Let's not talk about Jake Paul anymore now.
No. I said Woodley.
Oh, okay.
Woodley didn't take advantage.
Sorry, that's just bad memories. Bad
okay,
memories.
I know. Anyway, Kobe did what he's supposed to do. Good job doing what fighter's supposed to do. And better nickname than Battle.
Yeah, way better. Oh man, Pooh Bear Battle.
I don't care. I don't care. Brow gets offended. I know fighters are ultra sensitive. Some of these guys, I go a whole rant about that, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, let's leave Pooh Bear alone.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, let's just move on.
Get her some honey. But I'm gonna put the picture of the female JJ Aldrich. Let me see. Tell me if it comes out there because I'm on a delay.
Yes, it is. And that's JJ Aldrich in the black right there, and you see her dodging the punch right there. She's moving Vanessa to the side because she was probably going for a body blow right there because that's what she kept feeding her, body blows. She was just eat these, have for lunch, have them for dinner, have them for breakfast, brunch, lunch and dinner, all types of meals, a little extra dessert. Here's some grappling. Here's a grappling game. Here's some ground and pound game. She was dominant the entire fight. JJ Aldrich was dominant the entire fight. It was
very impressive too.
Her fight. Yes, very impressive.
Right. And you guys hear me?
Hello? Did I lose you guys?
No, we are here.
I'm here.
I think the picture's
still we can hear you.
All right.
Okay. I thought I just. No, yeah, I got another picture. Give me another picture, guys, of it. Yeah, I what do you think she goes from here next?
Yep.
Where do you think she goes from here, after this victory?
I believe that she just needs more activity.
Yeah.
Right now, she just needs more activity. We don't see enough of her right now. We need to see more of her. She needs to leave a lasting. She needs to give someone. She needs to give someone a reason for recency bias.
You're right about that. She just, because I was thinking give her credit. This is her second fight this year. It seemed like she didn't take any damage. There's no reason why she can't try to get a third fight in for the year. But you're right. It's a name I know, but it seems like to me it's like she's forgettable. I have to say, but I'm not saying she's boring, but she doesn't fight enough to the point where you forget that she exists. Which is a bad thing you want. That's the worst thing you want, is to forget that someone exists. Especially in this weight class, which is the toughest weight class, probably women's MMA. And you don't want to do that.
That's the Leon Edwards effect.
Yes, exactly. You don't want that. So if
Good call,
yep. Yeah, and she's won 3 of her last 4 fights. JJ Aldrich. And hopefully, like I said, maybe she's near the top 15. I'm not saying she's there, but maybe if she can beat someone close to the top 15 or someone like 14, 15, she can get there by the end of the year. Maybe seems like to me because she's always seemed close, but never like can get over the top, over the hump rather. And maybe this is the time for her to go because she's only like I just looked at her age. She's only 28, so
I mean, but it could be at a I don't know how to say it. She could be she could be just entering her prime. All fighters enter their prime.
right, exactly. That's
So
what I'm saying.
I'd say she didn't sustain that much damage. I don't feel like Vanessa damaged her too much during the fight. But then again, you never know how her body heals. But if she does get one more fight in and gets a ranking, then that could be a great way to end the year.
Definitely.
Definitely. Well, before we preview the new fight, the upcoming fight card of the week, so forth, I just want to talk about one more fight. I think it was a knockout of the whole entire weekend, the whole entire MMA sport, and it had nothing to do with UFC or Bellator. It came out of the Invicta FC, and I'm going to show the picture in a minute. Tell me when the picture comes up.
Wait, is that was this weekend? It was a while ago, honestly. Huh.
Yeah, it was. No, I thought it was this weekend. 5 days. Is it showing or no?
It was during the weekday. It was during the weekday.
That's why I felt like forever ago. Okay,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
It was on a Thursday or Friday. It was on a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. One of those days.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, you're right. I know what you're talking about. There we go. Yes.
Yep. Emily Ducat.
All right. Salute to Emily Ducat. She beat Danielle Taylor to claim the Invicta FC Strawweight Champion in the most impressive, jaw-dropping, wow factor knockout that I've seen from any women fighter or any fighter, in my opinion, besides Mazarov, need to Van Asken. That was to me drop my jaw. But this, the way she set it up with the overhand right, throws her opponent and just finished her with that savage kick. Kudos to that young lady. Wow. That's all I gotta say is wow.
That is impressive. I don't think I've seen that. I mean, she got punched from the right hand, froze, stay like this, and then
it was Mortal Kombat-esque.
Yes.
It was Mortal Kombat-esque. She literally she got her into the fatality mode. It was a boom, finish him while she was hanging in the air, and then kicked her. It was fatality, and she won the title. I believe she won the what division is she in?
Strawweight.
She won the Strawweight Championship, the Invicta FC Strawweight Championship. That was oh my gosh. When I saw that, I was oh my god. I believe I sent that to you, BX. But you saw it already. But I sent that to you.
Yes, you did.
We had to talk about it because that was
that.
And we did extend an invitation to Emily. Didn't get a response back. I'm pretty sure with the popularity of that kick and that knockout, I'm pretty sure she's really busy doing a lot of interviews and probably tired of talking about it. But we invited her on, and we'll continue whenever she's listening to or whatever. We tagged her on this stream. If she's listening, we want to just talk to you and tell you and just congratulate you for knocking on it. We wanted to see what it took for you to get there. And what going forward, what aspirations you think for that young lady? What's in front of her? Is there maybe an opportunity to want to get UFC or Bellator? What do you think her direction?
Well,
continue to defend her title. Yeah, go ahead, Austin.
Well, yeah, definitely defend her title, but UFC, Bellator don't have a strawweight division unless they open one, which who knows if they're going to. It could belt, but right now they don't have a 115 division, so UFC probably be her only option. That or she goes to ONE FC in Asia, unless she wants to go there. But maybe, who knows? I mean, she could be, like I said, she could be, girl goes UFC, does something, or maybe just has a spectacular knockout, but doesn't amount to anything. Or who knows? You never know, because sometimes, I've seen fighters have impressive knockouts, and yet we don't hear from them ever again. It could be that. I'm not saying it's gonna happen to her. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. Or she could be, someone who 3 years from now is fighting for the strawweight title and for the UFC. I mean, it's a combination. Well, it's a combination. I mean, we'll see. I definitely like to learn a little bit more about her before make an assessment personally.
It's exactly like
Okay,
you said,
a
but
fair point.
it's exactly like Austin said. But for right now, what I feel like she should be more focused on is the next title defense. You didn't take too much. I don't believe she took any damage. That was the first round knockout, I believe, right?
Yeah.
First round knockout. You didn't take any damage. You know Invicta's going to want you to defend that title real soon. Everyone's probably going to think it's a fluke, so everyone's going to, watch the next fight. When that match is booked, they're all going to want to see that next fight. You're going to get a lot more eyes on you. So as far as she's concerned, the next fight is her main focus right now. Don't let anyone have a reason to think that you're just a one fight fluke. Defend that title. Even if you have to defend it, I'd say 2 or 3 times. Defend the title. Then from there, you can do what you want to do. If you feel like you've dominated that division, if you've dominated that company's division, if you want to move up within move up weight classes within that same company to experiment more and then go on to the UFC, or you just want to move up weight classes while going on to another promotion, that's something down the line that she has to worry about, when that comes to. But for right now, her next thought process should be who I'm going to defend this title against, and when and how I'm going to get ready, how it's going to happen, what's the game plan. It's all about the next fight.
It always is. It always is. And you mentioned Austin of the Asian. I don't think she'll go because she's a girl that fighting. She fights out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And she's right now at a San Jose, California. So we'll see if she wants to do it. She's a mixed martial artist. Obviously, you can see she has the power by the knockout power there, and we shall see what her trajectory is. We'll definitely, at least the program here, will definitely follow her career going forward, because she's before that knockout she was 10-6, and she was she had a absolutely. That's where we're gonna get with that. That's why I wanted to get with that and bring that up there. She was 10-6, and before that fight on the 27th, she didn't fight since it says since 2020 in July, almost a year. She had a couple of bouts that were canceled, and she's currently on a 2-fight streak. So she's winning right now. So we'll see on how she bounced back. But she's have a bunch of KOs there. She has one with a rear naked choke. She lost, but her loss was a split decision, a unanimous decision. A loss. It didn't from an arm bar. She tapped out in one of them and anonymous. So other than that, she's lost by decisions. She didn't get. She hasn't gotten knocked out yet. So she shows that she has a good chin there, and maybe she just, you can't go to the judges like we all call. So maybe that also now experience kicks in with her, and maybe with experience and now winning a title, and maybe she might need to go to find another gym to elevate her skills, maybe to another level of a championship level that she wants to. She's 27 years old right now. She's 27. she's still, you know, in that age of getting into her prime, you know, in there, and she just got to find a new gym, maybe a new corner. You know, she's affiliated to American Top Team in Oklahoma, but we'll see where she goes there with that. You know, I know it costs money with all that with different gyms and changing and trainers, but if she's gonna have show that power that she showed in Invicta and that ick factor, then you know what? Maybe there's something in there. Maybe there is something there going forward with her.
You're absolutely right. But for right now, I say stay seated at Invicta and just, you know, because because it's been a year since prior to this last fight, there was a year span. We don't know how her body, you know, is gonna bounce back after being in the ring. That you know, just earlier, we're probably gonna see her in December. If Invicta hosts another, you know, event later on this year, maybe in November or December, something around there, we're probably gonna see her then. So she's gonna show up again.
Yeah, and she had two bouts. She had a good opponent lineup. I guess when the bout got canceled due to COVID restriction, she was gonna fight Monserrat Ruiz. You know, Monserrat Ruiz is is a UFC fighter, and she's the young lady with all the tattoos to her neck, the Mexican fighter. Fought in a few fights not so long ago in UFC. That was a good opponent there, and that got canceled in last November.
Oh yeah,
and then another bout got canceled in. Yeah, right. And then there was a fight in May that she got canceled with Liz Tracy. So she had two. She wants to get in the ring, but for some odd reason, either like you said, Monserrat got knocked out in her fight. Bailey couldn't medically clear to fight that fight. Maybe that's why that bout got canceled. With Liz Tracy, it got canceled too. So we don't know if that was also COVID restriction or whatever the case was, injury, or doesn't specify here. But I've looked at some of her opponents. That name came up to me because I seen her in the UFC. So she want to maybe try to test herself. Like you said, if Invicta does another show by the end of the year, I'm pretty sure they're gonna want to. Of course, she's gonna showcase after she's right now. Invicta's darling right now with that knockout, you know, internet sensation, you know, that has gotten so much retweets and compliments. So it will behoove her, Invicta, not to bring her back up there, you know, get her the right proper rest, the proper, you know, training, and make sure she can her body physically, and just have her go back out there, because she's really going to draw eyeballs if she continues to display that fighting skills and that power there, man. It's just captivating.
Yeah, absolutely right. So with that being said, we definitely look forward to Emily DeCote. She's made new fans of us here. What do you guys want to talk about next?
Let's get in this previous card. It's upcoming UFC card.
Saturday's card?
Yes.
Saturday, Austin?
Yes.
All right, I'll place it right here. Tell me if it shows. Usually you know how this is.
It does.
Well, the ticker underneath is still showing the
I'll take care of the ticker right now, and it should be coming right now. Oh, I lost that other one too. I got a delay here with the PC.
Oh no, it's up.
It's up.
It'll get fixed in a sec. In upcoming.
It's here.
All right.
It's up.
All right, gentlemen, take it away.
Well, if you notice, the time starts earlier. It's at 4:00, the main card, 1:30 prelims. It's because this is a UK card, because originally this card was supposed to be in England, but they thought they could do it, but can't do it. And we mentioned Arnold Allen earlier, mentioned UK fighters. Well, this card, it has 6 UK fighters on the card, so it's a very UK heavy show. You know, it's 4:00 here. 4:00 show starts here in the East Coast, in our time zone, but 9:00 over there. So very British heavy. That want to point that out. And but it's also got some pretty good fights. I mean, you got the main event, Darren Till against Derek Brunson, which is gonna be, you know, definitely a unique styles clash somewhat. But they're both mixed martial arts. But Derek Brunson's a wrestler, takes guys down. Till's a stand up Muay Thai type of guy. And this is I'm excited to see, Darren Till comes back and fight. Brunson's been in a row. Brunson's won 5 in a row. Yeah, 5 in a row. You got the Count Holland victory, yeah. And he's basically like Brunson's right there in the title picture. All he has to do is win this fight, when it'd be hard to deny him a title fight in his second fight with Israel Adesanya if he can beat Till. But Darren Till can beat Derek Brunson, who's on the road. It puts him back, fight away from the title fight because Israel's always thought about wanting to fight Till because he always believed that'll be a fun matchup for him. And I think that would be a fun matchup if Till and Israel do fight, but Till's got to win. And just see if he can do it because I like Darren Till. I mean, he's probably one of the funniest MMA troll on Instagram. But I mean, if you go on his Instagram, just 18 plus, hilarious.
Darren Till is a great personality.
Yes, he is.
He really is a great personality. If he does win this fight, all I see is that you give time for the Israel and Whitaker fight to be scheduled.
Right.
I don't think he needs to be active again. I think he just wins this fight. You let the decision of that Israel and Bobby Knuckles fight happen. If Israel wins, he always calls his next shot. And if Darren Till's just won a matchup, then he'll gladly call him out. But then again, I don't know. There's always the possibility of if he does wait and he waits long enough that they'll just say, okay, you and Cannonier fight because he's called out both of you. And then that fight decides who fights Izzy for the title.
Right.
He could, if regardless of this, of this fight. I don't know why I'm already scheduling Darren Till's next fights, but I just want to see more of Darren Till. I don't know. I want to see more of Darren Till. He makes me want to see more of him.
Yes, so,
yeah. Darren Till, he could also possibly, call out Paulo Costa or even Gilbert Burns. I said Paulo Costa. I said Gilbert Burns. I'm sorry. Paulo Costa. I don't know. I don't know why. I remember Gilbert Burns and Paulo Costa maybe having a back and forth on Twitter, and that's where my mind went to that. I don't know, but he could call out Paulo Costa maybe, and that could be the fight that takes up the time between him and Izzy. So it could be a myriad of things, but there's a lot of interesting fights on this card. Patty the Batty Pimblett makes his UFC debut.
But before we get there, I want to finish this Brunson and Till thing. Then we'll talk about Patty the Batty Pimblett. But yeah, because Till could also call out Marvin Vettori because they were supposed to fight, but Till had a collarbone injury, and Vettori couldn't get that fight. Although Vettori got the title fight,
No, Vettori got Holland, and then that got him the title fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and I remember I thought it'd be funny their banter back and forth how those two don't like each other, especially Till's trolling Vettori right before the Euro final of England and Italy was kind of funny if you go on his Instagram.
Oh, it wasn't. It wasn't coming home. It was going Rome.
No. Till was trolling before the match because he's Vettori had just lost the fight to Israel. Vettori had talked a lot of shit about Till. And Till, I forgot, was like basically like having a laugh at Vettori, things like that. I think this was before the Euro 2000, Euro finals. Although it didn't go out for England, obviously Italy won. But yeah, but also Derek Brunson. Like I said, Brunson, won 6 in a row, and I gotta give Derek Brunson credit because after he lost to Israel in New York back in UFC 230, that's in November 2018, he decided to actually get a head coach. Apparently, according to him and some people, he never had a true head coach like ever in his MMA career before, until after the Israel loss. Then he went to train down South Florida with Henry Hoof and Stanford MMA, and he's won 5 in a row. And it's actually, put a streak of wins together. which is pretty crazy because Brunson was always a top 10 middleweight. Even in Strikeforce, he was really good. But yeah, you always lose a big fight or something like that. And it's crazy to think he was a top 10 middleweight without a head coach. That's kind of like bizarre. And now he's got a head coach, and it's working very well. It makes you wonder, like, damn, what if he had a head coach this whole time? Like, truly, what could he have done?
Yeah, you're right. Derek Brunson is a very interesting fighter, but man, he his style of fighting is weird to me
It is weird. I agree with you. It's very bizarre.
because it's like he doesn't prioritize damage. He prioritizes position.
I see what you mean.
And that is one way to go about it, but it sometimes feels like it's more important to be in the right position for him than to just dish out damage and try and win the fight.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It seems like that at times.
I don't know, maybe because the Kevin Holland fight left a sour taste in my mouth because he did win the fight, but it felt like more so he just technically won because he knew Kevin Holland couldn't wrestle. So it was like, I'm gonna just keep you on your back, and from there, I'm gonna do little ground strikes here and there, but I'm maintaining position.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm trying to think. I know he finished Emin Shabazi and Derek Brunson. I'm trying to think. I think he might have been starting finishing guys a little more in the streak. I believe.
Yeah,
Well,
that because that was the call for that was the reason why a lot of people felt like he was getting slept on. Was he's a great fighter, but he wasn't finishing guys because he was prioritizing position over finishing.
right.
And like like the great ones sometimes don't need the best position. They just can finish. So now when they get used to that ability, any position becomes a great position to finish.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. That's a good point. I mean, it was weird. I think he always had knockouts. I think at one point he did start falling in love with striking, but it was always so weird at striking. And 'cause I do remember, like, with the Whitaker fight, when he fought Robert Whitaker back in 2016, he hurt Whitaker, but he just rushed in, which is reckless. And Whitaker was able to cover and counter him, and just finish him that round, that crazy one round war. But yeah, it seems like at times it seems like he'd be reckless with his knockouts at times, but also he can be, going for positions as well.
Cause I mean, but that's weird because it's like, how are you rushing in with your striking, but you have knockout power in your arms? Shouldn't you be as meticulous with your positioning as you are with your striking?
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah, you would think, but I think, yeah, you're right. I'm just trying to, like,
I don't know. He's just a like. That's why it's like I can talk about Darren Till all day, but Derek Brunson is a weird fighter to me, and it has nothing to do with his personality or
oh,
if he how he dyes his hair any color. It doesn't matter to me. But just watching him in the ring, it's like he would rather have great positioning over trying to finish the fight.
right. And who knows? Maybe he doesn't do that this fight. Maybe he goes out there, tries to finish till he has the opportunity to. Or we'll see. Like I said, I'm excited for this fight. I actually look forward to this. I think this is a very intriguing matchup. Grappler versus striker, old school style matchup. But obviously they can do more, but definitely Darren Till's a striker. He's better on his feet, and Brunson's a NCAA Division II All American or champion in wrestling. So you have that going on. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they basically have two different styles. It'd be great to see what happens in this fight. Since you mentioned it, let's talk about him. The debut of Mr. Paddy Pimblett. Wait, what's his nickname again?
Patty the Batty Pimblett.
A lot of hype on this guy. I mean, the people from UK, they remain this guy fought in like I think what's the stadium called? Where the soccer team Liverpool
Wimbledon
plays.
Stadium.
Was it Wimbledon? I thought it was where Liverpool plays. Maybe it was Wimbledon. Maybe you're right. I don't know too much about England and like this.
Yeah, I really don't know either. I don't know. Maybe the chat can inform us.
It was a stadium. I know that he fought in a stadium.
It may be Wimbledon Stadium, but yeah, he apparently sold out Wimbledon Stadium and had them all, singing his entrance song. And yeah, I've seen a couple of his clips, and the kid he's funky, man. That's what I can say about him.
Right. And I think he's a Cage Warrior guy too. I think it almost seems like a somewhat like I'm not gonna obviously it's unfair to make this comparison because there's so many different things between this guy and the guy I'm about to mention. But Conor McGregor, Conor McGregor came from Cage Warriors, a lot of hype, a lot of love from the Irish fans. Paddy Pimblett has a lot of love and hype from like the UK fans and like particularly Liverpool, which him and Taylor are both from, and like yeah, and coming in from Cage Wars, UFC. It's kind of it almost reminds me of that. Almost, it almost seems like kind of like
he's coming in with the Conor McGregor model completely, like you said. And the interesting thing is, like, he's not a striker.
I was gonna ask his style. Like, what was his?
He's by no means a striker. He's the type of guy. Like, literally, I've watched a couple of his fights, and the way he fights is like he'll stand up with the guy, right?
Right.
And they'll do all that striking, and then out of nowhere, he'll do a flying triangle while the guy is on his feet.
Really?
Yes. And his flexibility and his sudden athleticism, he has that ability to just fly in and like get a flying triangle. I've seen him get these submissions in. Or he'll use the flying triangle to set up the ground game, and then he'll go right into grappling. And from there, he hasn't. Like, Khabib was small in stature, right? And if anyone didn't know any better, he would really rip your head off with just a headlock.
Right.
The way Paddy holds on to some of these guys, the way he was grappling, like you could see these guys as like when they felt his grappling power, they're like, oh, okay, he's different on the ground. This has to be a stand-up fight. But by the time a lot of these guys realized that it had to be a stand-up fight, it was too late. He was doing some form of a submission, and the way he locked guys in, it was very weird. So I don't want, but because Khabib is so great, and I don't want to immediately go to him, but he's one of those great submission specialists. Okay, so then another guy you could say, oh man, but that guy's Jack, so I can't even say that. I don't know, because when you look at his stature, you wouldn't believe that he has such grappling power. But I believe his muscles are dense. So when he gets someone to the ground, he's really able to do that. I don't want to overhype the guy, but he's a submission specialist. So if the fight stays on the feet, I don't see it going too good for him. He's okay with the stand-up game, but if he gets to the ground, I don't know how good his opponent is as far as like jiu-jitsu and grappling and whatnot, but yeah.
Yeah, I was checking on Sherdog if Paddy's submissions. See, I want to see how many submissions he got. He's got like he's got 7 submissions of his 16 victories. So he's very, so a decent amount of his victories are submissions.
Yeah.
He's got like 5 TKOs, which I'm pretty sure that could be ground strikes. You take the guy down, just ground and pound them.
That's what I was about to say. That's where a lot of that came from too. Like in some of those TKOs, you can attribute to wearing of the person down from all that grappling, and then as soon as he gets a favorable position, he goes right into ground and pound.
Right, and I'm checking the record of his opponent, Luigi Vinadrami. Ironically, he's from Brazil, but his nickname is the Italian Stallion. I guess his family's from Italy, came to Brazil, which it's a decent amount of Italians from Brazil.
Yep, ladies and
I
gentlemen,
mean,
that picture is Patty the Batty Pimblett.
yeah, that's them. The unique hair, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so he's 9-2. His opponent, Luigi Vinadrami, also, but he's lost 2 of his last 3 fights, though. That's the thing coming into this fight. So I mean, it seems like Patty could possibly win his fights, but who knows if maybe Luigi can. Luigi's not exactly the guy that I'm pretty sure he's not taking lightly, nor should anyone do. But we'll see. We'll see what Patty does. Pimlet does, especially in the big stage, the UFC. Although it's not like he's fighting England. I'm pretty sure it'd be a lot more pressure fighting England versus Vegas, where not a lot of Brits is actually gonna come over.
Yeah, but then it is what it is at this point. He's here. It's happening this Saturday, so it's gonna be a show. Is there any other fighter on this card that you're interested in that you're gonna be keeping a special lookout on?
Yes, actually, it's Darren. I think it's Darren Till's teammate, the heavyweight, the co-main event, Tom Aspinall versus
Yes.
Sergey wait, is it Pavlovich or Spinoff? Because it looks like my paper. It looks like his name's different. Sergey I'm trying to remember his. Fuck,
Is it
I'm trying to-
Spivak?
I think Spivak. Yeah, Spivak is his name. Yeah, it's Sergey Spivak. I don't know why my paper if it looked different on my sheets. But yeah, Sergey Spivak against Tom Aspinall. And Tom Aspinall is a guy that a lot of people really like. I mean, I've heard people talk about him as a guy who could be a future contender in the heavyweight division, and I can see why. Because I remember watching his debut fight against he debuted in UFC last year on Fight Island against now granted the guy he beat was a guy that I mean that guy. I mean I'm glad Tom Aspinall destroyed that guy. That's all I'm gonna say because that guy looked like he was too fat and should be a 205 or. Well, that's another story for another day. But yeah, but since he's won 3 in a row, his first 3 UFC fights, Tom Aspinall's won. I think he's on I believe a 5-fight winning streak. No, 6-fight winning streak, excuse me. He is ranked number 13 and Sergey Spedov is ranked number 14. So it's top 15 heavyweights going at each other. And I do think Spanov does have 6 submissions, so he does like to go for submissions. And Spanov is 13 too. And I want to see because a lot of people really believe Tom Aspinall could be a guy, 2 years from now, fight top 5 or playing for the world title. And I think possibly, I do want to see that who can establish themselves in this heavyweight division. That's getting really exciting now, considering it's some new fresh blood, and maybe one of these 2 guys could do it. So yeah, definitely interesting to see that fight.
That's one of the names that was interesting for me. Another name that was also interesting for me is Charles Jourdain. He's fighting Julian Erosa. Charles Jourdain is a very great fighter. He's very technically sound, has a lot of power. Um, what has been his downfall the last couple of times? I think the last fight he had, he won via decision, or did
Let
he
me check.
lose?
Let me check. I'll tell you right now. Charles Jourdain. His last fight he won by the TKO.
Oh, okay, yeah. But before that, he had lost via decision, I believe. But he's kind of on an up and down slope, but he just needs to get right now. He's a very interesting prospect. He's someone who's very technically sound. He's so good in all areas of the game. I think he's one of those guys where you have to learn how to mix it together well. You have to learn what you're best at and learn how to mix it together well. And if he's able to do that, then he he's gonna be a champion, in the distant future, in the not so distant future. But Charles Jourdain is someone I'm very interested in watching.
Yeah, and when you were talking, that put a picture of Tom Aspinall on his debut fight against Jake Collier. No, the reason, yeah, I do remember. I forget what a former MMA fighter who does reviews, just giving his Tom Aspinall's opponent a hard time, Jake Collier, for how he came in shape and how he folded easily. But that's another story. But yeah, but Tom Aspinall, I mean, he looks good. You know, he looks like British Frank Mir. I'm not sure you remember Frank Mir from back in the day.
Yes.
He do look like Frank Mir, like a British
Yeah.
version of him. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, so I definitely like to see Tom Aspinall. I'm excited for that. And Charles Jourdain, I mean, you know, you mentioned him. I know you're excited to see him. There's Patty Pullian. I mean, Patty Pimblett. Another fighter actually I'm interested to see is Alex Perez in the flyweight division against Matt Chanel. The reason why I'm interested is because Alex Perez, if you remember, his last fight was for the flyweight title against Davison Figueiredo back in November, and
Yes.
and I remember Perez. It was weird because Perez he went for a takedown, but I forget the commentator's name was Dominic Cruz mentioned he didn't really do anything wrong. Like he didn't like it's not like he messed up. It's just that Figueiredo just somehow was just brilliant that night. Just how was able to put Giga on and just make him tap despite him not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
I think even though fights, he didn't exactly do any big mistakes. So I was thinking, man, I feel bad for him. You didn't mess up, and yet you still lost the world title fight. I mean, I wanted to see how he bounces back. I mean, it's been a while. He's fighting a tough guy, Matt Chanel, who's ranked I believe he's ranked number 9, if I'm not mistaken, in the UFC flyweight division. I know Perez is ranked number 4, so this is going to be interesting to see, you know, who can, you know, establish themselves, you know, closer to the flyweight title. Although it's a little jammed with, you know, you got Davison Figueiredo, you got Askar Askarov, who has a draw over Brandon Moreno, and we mentioned Alexander
Pantoja.
Pantoja, who has a victory over Brandon Moreno. So I mean, this flyweight division's got it's got it's got contenders. You know, those are like 3 top guys. Maybe one of this fight can establish themselves, maybe a tier below them that where you know they're close to the title fight. They just all they do is beat one of those 3 guys, and they probably get a title fight if they win this fight.
I don't want to. Oh man.
Robin.
I mean, but I did throw speculation out there with the Rose thing, and we are going to touch on that. But I don't want to throw any speculation, but it was a quote, I believe, from Brandon Moreno. I'd have to verify the sources, but essentially what he was saying was that he's not running away from a title fight against Pantoja, and that he'd more than welcome that. So, if we were to have a Brandon Moreno Pantoja, a Moreno Pantoja fight for the title, and I was what's his name again?
Which one?
The fighter on this card,
Perez.
And if I were Perez, what I'd do, honestly, me,
Right.
I'd fight Dave. I challenge Davison Figueiredo.
I agree. You know what? That's a good point. It's a good call. I don't hate the idea. That makes total sense. If Perez has beat Matt Chanel, he should call out Davison Figueiredo. Try to get that one
Call out
back.
Davison Figueiredo because that night you didn't do anything wrong. He just got you more brilliantly. But then again, he got by a guy who's more primarily a boxer than, you know, a submission artist.
That's true. Yeah, knockout guy. Yeah.
So now, if you get Davison Figueiredo, you beat him. You've secured your number 1 contendership. No one above you. And I know Askarov has been patient, and he's been, you know, he's a guy that should get more chances. But Perez has the chance on Saturday night to call out Davison Figueiredo if he wins this fight. Say, I want the rematch. You get that rematch, you win that fight, you're number 1 contender. You call the shots. Because after that fight between Pantoja and Moreno, no matter what happens, if Moreno wins, then that's, you know, that's 1-1 for them. Pantoja, but he defended the title, and Pantoja can only can try and find another way to, you know, get contendership. If Pantoja wins, That's 2-0 over Brandon. No, Brandon Moreno said he has 2 victories over. Brandon Moreno says Pantoja has 2 victories over him. So
I
that'd
don't
be
know how.
3-0.
Really? I just got one. I mean,
That was what the quote said, that he has 2 victories over him. So I
okay,
maybe have to check the facts on that quote, but
right,
he said he has 2 victories over him, so that'd be 3-0, and Pantoja would be the better man. I don't know, but either which way, Perez has the opportunity that night. If you call out Davison Figueiredo, because Figueiredo's not doing anything right now, you call him out. Say, I want you by the end of this year. You're not doing anything. I just got off a fight. Remember, you fought me fresh off of your fight. We
right.
it it can happen that way. He can set himself up, and it'd be a great shakeup in the division.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, you're right. And okay, yeah. Oh yeah, I see what Moreno was talking about. They fought in the Ultimate Fighter, and Pantoja beat him there. That's why it technically doesn't count because unless it's the finals, fights in Ultimate Fighter don't technically count your record unless you're in the finals. But yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, Perez has the opportunity to establish himself. It may be Matt Schnell, which is not an easy fight. I mean, it's not disrespect
Oh
Matt
yeah,
Schnell.
Matt Schnell is not an easy fight at all.
Matt Schnell could put himself in the picture where he can fight any one of these guys, and maybe if he wins 2 in a row, he can fight for
Yeah,
the
I'm
full
kind of
title.
sleeping on Matt Schnell. As soon as he said his name again, I'm like, I remember him. Yeah. This is gonna be a good fight. I hope, just like the Kevin Lee Daniel Rodriguez fight, which ended up being a better fight than I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, this fight is gonna be a great fight. I hope people don't don't fall asleep on this fight. Please pay attention to this fight. It's gonna be a great fight.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and yeah. Is there any other fights that interest you in this card? Because he mentioned, we already mentioned Till, Brunson, Aspinall, and Pavlovich, and Marion and Perez and Chanel, and of course Patty Pimblett and Luigi Vendrami. Anything else in this card that excites you?
Um, Other than that and Charles Jourdain, no, I kind of want to get to this MSG card, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's definitely
Star
do it.
studded event, man.
I was gonna ask you, you trying to go?
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's probably
When this
expensive.
card got announced, me and BX were talking to each other, man. Oh my god. The names on this
It
card.
was exciting to hear.
I know. It's
Oh my god! I didn't even see Jermaine Durandamine was on the card. Oh my god!
yeah, it's like I didn't know that either. I just looked it up now. I'm like, wait a minute, Durant enemies on this card?
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's
Is the
like
card there now? Because it should be up there.
Yes, it should be up
yes,
there.
yes, I
Oh
see
my
it.
god!
We got obviously the main event, Usman Covington the rematch. Then we also got another rematch with Rose Namajunas and Zhang Wei Li. They got Chandler Gaethje. Then you got Rocco coming back against Sean Strickland. Then you got Frankie Edgar from Tom's Rivers, New Jersey, going against Marchito Vera. Jaren Enemy against Irene Adanya, which I mean, and then which has which does have foreign stakes in the bantamweight division. Excuse me. And then you got Al Quinton against Bobby Green, which although that's a little suspect because you heard
No, that might be a surprising fight.
yeah, but the thing is this: he was on the MMA Hour yesterday, and he said the UFC just announced him fighting Bobby Green without him knowing. Like it seems like he didn't officially agree to the fight.
I don't think. I mean, I don't think the UFC would do that. So I don't know. Maybe.
I've heard stories they have.
Oh
Fresher
man.
guys.
It did come out of his mouth from the MMA Hour. I heard. Or they just scheduled them to fight it. Knowing.
I mean, I don't know. But even if you remove that fight from this card, like it's still a stacked card.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, this is like
And that's
Like
not
that
and
was the
that's not even
weakest.
the prelims.
But that was the weakest fight of the main card. So
no,
let's say you remove that, or you remove one of those prospects with another person. It could be a nice surprise or a boring surprise, either which way. The rest of the card is stacked.
some fights are going to be the prelims because only 5 fights, maybe sometimes 6 be on the main card. So it's possible that maybe let's say yeah, Quinton Bobby Green, if it does happen, and maybe Drain Enemy Ariane Danya on the prelims. Which if that's your prelims, that's a pretty damn stacked card. If that's your prelims.
I don't think Jermaine Durandamy should be on the prelims, bro. She should be on the main card.
Well, let's not forget, Alistair Overeem and Curtis Blaze was on the main event of the prelims, and the fight that was open that pay per view was CM Punk and Mike Jackson, which did not deserve to be in that pay per view.
I
I don't
mean,
care if it's in Chicago. No,
yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying with that, but it, watch it. Like I remember Jermaine Durandamy's last fight. She didn't lose a step.
no, I agree. She's still
Like this
good.
isn't one of those, like, remember with Alistair Overeem, like the reason why he kept being put, like, and I believe he was main eventing ESPN Plus cards until they released him. But the reason why they have him like that is because we like, we didn't know at the time whether Alistair still had it. And it proved, like, with the upcoming talents that are coming in the heavyweight division, like he's not a guy that should be sticking around the division.
Yeah, but it's heavyweights. Guys can change like that, and he's got power. Not only that, it was CM Punk and Mike Jackson on the main card of pay per view.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. Like Jermaine Durandamy, like she was like that last fight she had was very exciting.
I agree. She won by guillotine. She
So
submitted Julia Pena.
yeah, it was, yeah. So I'm not seeing how after that she goes to fight on the preliminaries. Like
Let's not forget.
But
I don't
she could
see
be the
her
main.
being.
She could be the main event. She could be the main event on ESPN leading up to the pay per view. You know,
Yeah.
they always try to give you a good main event for the prelims, so you could get hooked and order the pay per view if you ordered it. You know, that's why I always tell anyone that listens to the broadcast, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but every broadcast I said, if you're new to the MMA game and you're new into the fighting world, the mixed martial arts, watch the prelims, the preliminaries fights early, because you get, like, I know it sounds like a broken record, but I always mention it. You never know who's a listener to the program, or new to the MMA world, and just trying to give us want to hear us and see what we bring. Watch those prelims. The guys are more hungry, more. They're more hungrier because they want to make a name for themselves, and they want to be in the main card. So they want to go out there, and also there's bonuses. If they put a standing knockout finish or have a fight, they get a $50,000 bonus on top of their pay for being the fight of the night. So those prelims, those fighters are more hungrier. They take a more of a risk at chest because they're trying to swing for a grand slam because they want to make that money and make a name for them. So that's why I encourage you guys to always watch those prelims, and they always get you because they give you that delicious nectar. They're like, man, this is good, and you want to continue to chow down and eat the nectar, and that's what the pay-per-view is. So that's why they give you that main event on the prelims that is like, and before a pay-per-view, they're like, oh damn, name, and I think that's what that might fall into in a nutshell, just to sum it all up.
I understand. I would, me personally, I would make the Bobby Green Ally Kenta fight. I would make that fight, and I would put a women's fight on the main card because
but there's already a women's fight.
Oh yes,
the women's strawweight title fight. We already got one.
Yeah,
damn,
Rose.
that's
Don't
right.
forget Rose.
That one is good.
That's the co-main event. That's the co-main event.
Let's not forget UFC 205. Habib and Michael Johnson was on the prelims, and Habib was already undefeated and starting to build his name up at that point. And Frankie Edgar fought on the main event of the prelims of 205. And Frankie Edgar against Jeremy Stevens. Frankie Edgar, who's technically, I guess hometown guy. I know Tom Rivers is more South Jersey, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, he was on he was in the prelims.
Can we see? Can I see that graphic again, please?
Uh,
I want to see what time it starts and what time
yes,
the
you
main card.
may.
If they have that,
Oh,
because then they might have. This might be one of those times. Oh no, they don't have the times yet. Okay.
it's 10 o'clock usually the
No,
East
not
Coast.
yet.
I probably gonna start like 7 o'clock probably.
I feel like it might start 5 o'clock. I think this might be because this is Madison Square Garden, man. I think they're gonna try and keep those people in there as long as they can. I think these preliminaries start at like 5, 6 o'clock, man.
I mean, I'd say they got.
Yeah, you're gonna have the early prelims.
Yeah, maybe, probably. Yeah, it usually starts 6:37 typically.
I think this might be one of those events where Dana White is gonna have a whole bunch of fights on the preliminaries to match, like not really match the number of the main card, but to come close to the number on the main card. Like we've seen cards that have at least 15, like 12, 15 fights before. We've seen cards that have that number of fights. So it isn't uncommon.
What?
Like I believe the Max Holloway Calvin Kattar fight that started at 4 o'clock, ended at 10, 11-ish.
No, that was afternoon. That was in the afternoon. That was on ABC. That card.
Yeah, but that was but remember they gave an extensive card for that fight. So I'm saying now, like, you know, we already had the live event in Houston, but I don't think that gave all the fireworks that the UFC was looking for.
The Holloway Kattar fight only had 10 fights.
You said what?
Holloway Kattar card, I just checked, only had 10 fights.
Okay. Yeah, but see, that's a large number. That's still 10. You still getting a double digit.
That's
how much?
That's a lot.
How much? Yeah. How many fights was on that card? I believe it's on this card that's coming up in Madison Square Garden.
So far, it's confirmed. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 so far.
I'll put the graphic. I'll put the graphic back up if it allows you.
1, 2. Yeah, you're right. That's 7 fights. Technically 6 because it sounds like Ali Quinta and the Bobby Green fight isn't really secured.
No, it's gonna happen.
How many fights do you usually get in the preliminaries?
Like all in total, like 5 and 6.
This might be one of those cards where you're getting 14, 15 fights, man.
Maybe.
I don't think he's gonna have.
You're gonna get New York.
It's in New York.
New York, you're gonna get your money's worth.
You're getting your tickets worth.
My thing is, if the fighters want to go New York, that's the question. That's the question because the New York Commission is not exactly the best. The taxes, and then you got the passport thing.
But I believe New York is one of the best when it comes to as far as controlling the vaccine. I mean, controlling the virus. So I think that's what they're putting precedence over. Is if we can get guys in a state that's better controlled for the virus, because in order to be in Madison Square Garden, you're gonna have to be vaccinated.
No, but that's the problem. Fighters may not want to go because of that.
Because of that, there's fighters that's still on our back, and Dana White isn't forcing their fighters to be vaccinated. If they choose not to, it's okay with him.
I understand that, which is why you're probably gonna have a lot, like on a Usman Covington card in Madison Square Garden. How many backup fighters do you think they're calling right now? How many people are ready to be backup fighters? I don't think the show is gonna stop, man.
But it should be interesting to see out of. I'm gonna say interesting out of all those 7 fights, out of the 14 fighters scheduled, do we really get to see all of them? Something's gonna happen. I hate to say it. Unfortunately, that's the world we're living in right now. That somebody's gonna back out for some reason or whatever the case is. But if this could come to fruition and all these fighters make it to Madison Square Garden and fight, and then we know we're getting in the prelims, this is gonna be a grand. On paper, it looks like it's a grand slam for UFC to almost close out the year because that's and then the thing is, the span of 2 weeks we're getting 2 pay-per-views back to back in 2 weeks or 2 less
Yeah,
or something like that,
yeah,
and you're
yeah.
gonna get both. Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Because
Okay, Austin.
the week earlier they're going to Abu Dhabi for Fight Island. That's where the light heavyweight championship's gonna be defended and the bantamweight championship's gonna be defended in Abu Dhabi, and they got a pretty good card over there too.
So I think this is one of these fight weekends where you're gonna get two great cards, and then the UFC is probably not gonna host a card for a week or two. So a
Yeah,
lot of fights are gonna go down. I think this is gonna be like a 14. This might be anywhere from like a 12 to 14 fight card.
right. Possibly, we'll see. We'll see. Either way, it's exciting, and we're looking forward to this card. We'll see what happens
We're
with this
gonna be
card.
we'll be breaking it
Yeah,
down more on the program once it gets closer to the time. We just had to bring it up and talk about it because of all that cream that's in there. Or the best of the it seems like it's a best of the best type of tournament there.
It
But
is
every
is
fighter
the
in UFC seems to
best
be
of
best of the
the
best.
best. It is the best of the best. You have Usman versus Covington. That's the main event, and we
yeah.
all remember how that went.
First, great, it was a great fight.
Great
Tremendous
fight.
fight.
And then underneath you have Rose versus Zhang Weili, and she. Granted, the first fight ended quickly, but I believe Zhang Weili is gonna come back a better fighter.
Right, but I also
I don't
I don't know.
know. I don't know how much better is gonna help her against Rose, but Rose needs to stay Thug Rose.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, there's another Dillashaw Cody
Yeah,
Garbrandt.
Then you have Justin Gagey versus Michael Chandler.
Yes. Ooh,
Which,
great fight.
if you've seen the back and forth between these two
They don't
guys
like each other.
currently, they don't like each other. One of them's calling the other a ducker. The other one says, "I ain't been ducking you." Now we got the fight set up. You didn't deserve the championship fight, and that's why I'm calling you out. And I should have been fighting for the championship. And this, that, whatever. I don't respect you, and let's just fight. I'm a better wrestler than you, and I'm better with their hands than you. And they both can say that to each other because they were both American wrestlers, and they're both great with their hands. Oh man, they're a great fight. Sean Strickland versus Luke Rockhold. We just saw Sean Strickland do business, handiwork to Uriah Hall just now.
Right?
And oh my God. Oh, Sean Strickland the crazy SOB said, if I wasn't fighting in MMA, I'd be selling meth out of a trailer. I don't want to promote that, but that is what the man said.
He did say that. We'd be in prison or dead, something like that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, he did say that.
Prison or selling meth out of a trailer.
wow.
Like, yeah, Jermaine the Randomine. Oh my God. You have Frankie Edgar, who wants get back after the Corey Sandhagen knockout. He's going against Cheeto Vera. Coming off of I believe he's coming off of a victory off his last fight.
Yeah, he won his last fight.
And it was very convincing. He was very great with the striking. Like, this is
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, man, it's a great card. Like I said, we'll preview more of it. Although, man, I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have to recap the last pay per view. I mean, geez. I mean, we got, and then we got, but we'll have time to like, to review this card. I mean, this card deserves like, I mean, I don't know. This might deserve its own video. We just preview this card. Don't talk about anything else. I think it's one of those videos. Let's don't talk about anything else.
I'm not even gonna lie. We going on 3 hours right now. We just talked about 3 cards just now. We talked about one that just passed, one that's about to happen, and one that. Oh my God. Oh man, when I saw that Rose was in camp, I said, please let it be for this year. And we're gifted with the presence of Thug Rose again.
That's right, you did say that. Yeah, that's right. Last week.
And
oh man.
Just to give you a quick note, Yang is is training in She now she's in Vegas training, so she's getting used to I guess the climate here in the United States and the time zone. So she really wants to beat Rose, moving her camp and moving here and so forth. So that's going to be a battle, like you said. Doug Rose needs to continue getting her A game. It is always the saying: it's easier to climb to the mountain, but it's harder to stay on top. Yep. So that's what's the battle that's facing Rose now. With that said, I think we're gonna call it a program, but I just want to give a news. Austin, well, tell me what you're doing on the 23rd of October.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll be quick. Yeah, well, I'm going to AEW Dynamite on Saturdays. It's here in Orlando, and I was like, I can't miss this opportunity. This time, I'm going with my brother instead of my friend. And so excited. It's excited to see that Dynamite, my second AEW show. I want to see. It's gonna be. I think it's in UCF, the UCF arena. Where they do the basketball and all that. Ironically, my graduation ceremony took place too, high school. So
nice.
It's a small venue, but it's a small intimate venue. It's gonna be packed. And the funny thing is, I wanted out now. He told me, found out. I said, man, I wouldn't mind going, but I couldn't because the night before, on the 22nd, we'll be in Amway Arena cheering on my New York Knicks, which will they be playing the Orlando Magic, opening up Magic season. So I'll be in the building there, and while the next day my sons will be out in AEW, so I might go ahead and do a couple streams where and Austin might say something live. We're live here from the AEW, so behind that, maybe we'll do something live from the arenas, from either the basketball and the wrestling. But we'll have plenty of time to plan that out and get that going. But with that, I said, we won't, like you said, 3-hour stream. I appreciate everyone that listened, came aboard and give the like and subscribe button. I want to thank, of course, Chef Dan, always with your knowledge, and my son Austin as well. And I want to Dan, give us some final thoughts here before we go, and then we'll run it to Austin, and then we'll throw the intro and wrap it up.
I want to thank all the loyal listeners, the people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show and supporting. It's really great. So before I sign off on my end, I want to give you guys a bit of a cliffhanger, a teaser for next week's show. In the UFC, there is a problem in the heavyweight division. We're going to talk about it.
I know it is.
There is a problem in the heavyweight division. Matter of fact, there might be multiple problems in the heavyweight division. We're pushing on 3 hours, so we don't want to, rack your brain with all of this. But next week we will talk about it, or we might have to do a watch along this Saturday and talk about it then. Who knows? But there is a problem in the heavyweight division, and we will talk about it. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope to see everyone here next week.
I think I know what to talk. I think I know what it might be. What it probably is. I have two theories. I think one of them. I think
leave the teaser.
I know. Yep, I will.
Right, leave the tease for next week, but we'll talk about it off camera, definitely.
Right.
So
Austin, say your final words before I run the intro.
You were saying something, Dan?
No, I'm saying if that's it, I'm just gonna be signing off on my end. Hope everyone stays safe. Stay pure of all this, the nastiness outside, the virus and all that. Just look forward to this great weekend of fights. Salute everyone. Salute.
And for me, well, look forward to these great fights coming up, especially, this main event and even co-main event. And, we can look forward to have some great, UFC action in Las Vegas again, the Apex. And we'll see, we got, rising contenders in the heavyweight division to guys who maybe establish themselves as contenders in middleweight, to the debut of a guy who has big fame in England, and Paddy on the Baddie Pimlet. Yes, definitely a lot to look forward to this week with the UFC, especially if you're a UK fan, or you definitely have a lot to look forward to. Even if you're not, you still have a lot to look forward to anyway. And yeah, can't wait for this card. And thank you guys for watching. And look forward to seeing you guys next week and reviewing the cliffhanger that Dan left. Look forward to that. And thank you and good night and God bless.
All right, I'm gonna run the video. Thanks everyone again. Let me first make sure I get that clipped on there. I don't know if it's still in there. Okay, here we go. Hopefully we can get it going.